is here. It's XL Primetime. Welcome in. Hope everybody's having a good Tuesday. Kind of rainy out there. I don't know about this weather, but hopefully it'll break and we'll have some beautiful sunshine. We were treated to great weather for a long time, so, hey, no complaints. Other than I did text the group thread and said weather greater than traffic, because traffic just cannot handle rain. It cannot handle rain. Welcome in, Beaver Toyota, Beaver Chevy. They bring you today's show, and we creep closer and closer to the draft. And they've got all sorts of great rides in the month of April that you want to take advantage of from the Toyota line, the Chevy line. Make sure you check out Beaver Toyota St. Augustine.com right there in the AUG on US 1, and Beaver Chevy on Phillips Highway, and online at beaverchevrolet.com. So, I'm getting, pumped up. We'll ask Cersei for some, draft week stories as we get closer and closer. But, when we get to Thursday and, I let out the yell, we're going to be 2 weeks away from this draft. And Frange comes in yesterday during Crosstalk, Leon, and he said that Peter King put a piece out that said, everyone's a draftnik these days. Whereas Peter King said, there were a handful of insiders that you could trust with what maybe back in the day you regarded as true intel. Like he was calling up your agent and saying, hey, what are you hearing, blah, blah, blah. Now everyone has got the mocks out. And so it is a different world. But this year in particular, I don't think we have any clue what people are going to be doing starting with that number one pick.
Yeah, I mean, because back in my day in '92 when I was drafted in the first round by the Steelers, you had two outlets that you kind of looked at. Mm-hmm. You had Mel Kiper and you had Joe Bushbaum.
Yep,
those were the two guys, okay?
In a basement.
Those were the two guys that you essentially got all your information from on who was doing this, who were maneuvering there, what team was trading up to get this guy, that guy, where guys ranked or whatever. And I especially, listen, first of all, my dad was my biggest fan. He especially liked Joe Bushbaum because like 2 months after the combine, he had David Klingler and Leon Cersei ranked number 1 and number 2 in the draft. Oh, my dad lost his mind.
That'll win Pops over.
Yeah, I mean number 2 overall coming out of the draft. I said, I'm not going number 2. But
it
looked good on paper, though. Huh?
Was he wrong?
Oh, he was way wrong. I mean, because the Colts had the 2 picks. And Well, the Colts had the 2 picks. They took Steve Edman and Quentin Coryatt. Those were the 2 picks that they took overall.
Again, was he wrong?
Oh, well, if you look back now,
right.
I mean, Quentin Coryatt and Steve Edman didn't have the illustrious career. Mm-hmm. They didn't play the past 5 years. And then David Klingler was like kind of a bust. So, but no, but now everybody is a mock draft.
Right.
And there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, I went and did the simulator.
Yeah.
The simulator.
Can't help it.
Can't help it. I want to see, what guy we're going to potentially get. And I think in the first simulation that I did, as far as the Jaguars came, the simulator gave me Broderick Jones from Georgia. Okay. Which was not, there's your right tackle right there.
Right.
There's your right tackle right there. So
big human being.
Big human being. Only red flag I have with him is, no, that's not him. I'm thinking about the other guy. I'm thinking about the other the right tackle from Ohio State, who's like 374.
Oh, that's
DeJuan Jones.
DeJuan Jones. Huge human being. Only concern is like he's almost close to 380. That'd be a little red.
Yeah,
I'd
be.
A lot of people like him. But a lot of him,
like you were saying, a lot of people like him better than
Paris.
Paris, yeah.
Yeah, but that's just still kind of it would concern me greatly that a guy comes in at that weight, and if you did I'm sure there's a draft history guy out there that could point out how many guys that weighed, say, over 335 pounds.
Not everybody becomes Vince Wilfork.
Yeah, over the last 25 years. And by the way, Wilfork was an inside defensive man that you couldn't move. Offensive guys that can't move, that's no bueno. Because they just run around that guy. And then it's not like you're trying to add weight and strength to him. You're trying to get weight off of him.
Trying to get weight off of him.
And that would just freak me out a little bit.
Yeah, him coming to Florida.
Yeah.
And training camp, well, first of all, training camp now is a wasteland. It do absolutely nothing. But I'm just thinking that size in Florida with the heat man, I mean, he'll be thinking more about surviving than actually getting better.
Yeah.
That's what concerns me. Unless he comes in, he was essentially coming in camp in shape.
Right.
Then it's a whole different story.
It's so funny because we see a lot of people that are bigger, faster, stronger in today's world, but 370 still screams he's overweight to me. And you've got to be able to beat these quick edge guys. All right, so we're going to be talking draft and getting into it a number of different ways. But the other part of the draft is what the college guys have done to warrant all the conversation. Will Levis, as an example, is visiting with the Tampa Bay Bucks. We've seen the itinerary for Anthony Richardson. He's all over the place. C.J. Stroud and Bryce Young are the other two that we mention most often when it comes to the quarterbacks. And we are going into the last couple of weeks where I really feel like we don't know what the number 1 or number 2 overall pick is going to be. Did we feel the same way before we get into the quarterback questions? Did we feel the same way with the number 1 pick overall last year? Need we be reminded? Trayvon Walker was not a guarantee lock. He's your number 1. He's the best player in the draft type of guy. It was Aiden Hutchinson was probably mocked as often or more at the number 1 position, and Trayvon came on strong, the last couple of weeks, about this time a year ago.
Well, and also it's a matter of banking on ceiling. And that is what teams are doing, not just with Anthony Richardson, if they're to select him in the top 10, let alone the first round of the NFL draft this upcoming season. They'd be banking on what the potential is, the measurables. But to an extent, I mean, how about Will Levis, too? You know, he brags that he has this cannon of an arm. We know he had a strong junior campaign in Lexington. Granted, he had a guy by the name of Wan'Dale Robinson, and he had a strong offensive line anchored by one Luke Fortner, and that certainly worked in his favor.
I mean, obviously.
Right, but then when he didn't have those guys, we saw him struggle. And so, again, listen, at the end of the day, the draft is always going to be a risk. And so that's where, to our conversation, and I teased this during the handoff of, can you remember a college quarterback who struggled but then found success in the National Football League? It's tough because, but the whole draft is a crapshoot inherently.
Yeah, I always like joking, it's a 50-50 coin flip and you have worse odds. Doesn't make sense, but that's what it is, because when you make a decision, your odds decrease that you will get it right. Now, this team is fortunate enough that they're not in this quarterback conversation right now because they've got the flowing locks and the football Jesus that came rolling into town a couple of seasons ago. But the teams that have to make that decision, they're trying to figure out, is it worth it for Bryce Young? Will he hold up to the rigors of the NFL, the punishment that the body will take? He's smaller. It's a huge risk. C.J. Stroud, he does a lot of things well, but does he do anything great? All that type of stuff. And then you go to the next guy, and that's the Anthony Richardson conversation that people can't figure out whether he should be the number 1 overall pick or the number 1 player in the 4th round taken. I mean, it's just crazy where we are at when it comes to the quarterback position. And Anthony Richardson is the guy that we are zeroing in on quite a bit.
Speaking of draft picks that went particularly high, JJ, let's hit that real quick.
That just happened. Brought to you by Florida Home AC, the official air conditioning partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
The Atlanta Falcons continue to make off-season moves. They are trading a 2023 fifth-round pick to the Detroit Lions for cornerback Jeff Okudah, formerly the number 3 overall pick in the 2020 NFL Draft.
Yeah, you want to talk about guys that you can't quite figure out, what you saw and what you believed and then what was? Jeff Okudah had to deal with injuries to begin with in his NFL career, I say, to begin with. But he and C.J. Henderson were 2 of the top 9 picks in a draft not that long ago that will now be on different teams. That's something else.
C.J., by the way, who will be part of all of our ugly. Good, bad, and ugly.
Yeah, however you want to describe
NFL draft feature that we're doing over the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, we've got the good, the bad, the ugly. JJ, did you go find the good, the bad, the ugly music?
Yes. We played it yesterday.
Yeah, I was making sure because, we had people responding as far as great Clint Eastwood flicks and whatnot.
This is how I'll take you guys, listeners, behind the scenes. Yeah. Joe is incredibly deaf and turns his headphones down very low. Yeah. Didn't even realize we had the music playing the entire time yesterday.
It's so funny because sometimes we can be blamed for when we didn't realize something and not paying attention, and then the other times
this is just
not hearing
Mother Nature or I guess your age and
well, I don't even know, man.
Years of wearing headphones and radio makes you deaf. If people would see Rick Ballou and how he has to crank up the volume on his headset. It's insane.
Every time I come in here, did you hear
how
this
loud
today?
it is.
Yeah.
I put my headphones in and I could hear it down the hallway.
So here's what's kind of got me a little bit is that I've always kept my headphones at a very low level. Like just I can really focus on smaller sounds.
Have you?
No, I'm just let me just say it, okay?
Right.
So I have kept my headphones low for the entire time I've been on radio. And like Richie, as a good example, is an engineer, so he hears everyone's headphones. Another guy used to work here would always hear different, and he's like, holy smokes, your headphones are just so low. Yet, the Baloo example that JJ gives is I feel like I am
You're the healthier guy.
Yeah, and I'm more
You're making the correct decision.
And I'm more hard of hearing than Baloo is in certain situations. So I go the other day to the ENT because I wanted to find out whether or not it was something that someone was trying to sell me something, or if there's fluid on my ear or whatever.
What's an ENT?
Ear, nose, and throat.
Oh, gotcha.
And so I go to the ENT the other day, and they put me through the hearing test and whatnot, and they go, yeah, your ears are perfectly clean, and there's really not a whole lot else you could do about it. The thing that got me at the end when they said, hey, you might want to look at getting a little help is that your brain hears something. In other words, when you try and decipher sounds, words, all that type of stuff, that starts to tell your brain, and if you get lazy and just accept words as being whatever,
right.
then your brain will get lazy. And that's the first time I heard that, and I don't know whether it's
so
true.
like
Just
you're
your right
hearing
ear, though,
something,
right?
but
It's in
you're
both.
not.
Oh, it's in both. I thought your right was worse than
like
your left.
your brain will say, in other words, I went through the hearing test, and I got a 92. Now, I've gotten very few 92s in my,
I was about to say,
academic
one of your
life.
few
Yeah.
A's.
That's
Was that
one
a
of my-
good score or
One of
bad
my
score?
bright, shining moments. And they go, well, that's good, but you're obviously not hearing everything the way you're supposed to hear it. And what happens is when there's a number of sounds, not just one sound, then it just kind of...
Dude, this is perfect that you could use for your wife.
Yeah, believe me.
Anytime
he
she
has
says
already.
you haven't been
Guarantee he
listening,
has
just
already.
be like, I have a medical condition. Excuse me.
You don't think he has
Sorry
already?
for
Come on.
being diseased.
Yeah, now I've got two beautiful things that I tell TLD all the time. I'm sorry, honey, I did not hear you
Did you
when
get
you
that
said
text?
that.
I did not.
And then
I
the other part of
hear
it,
it.
the other part of it is I've got to watch this. It's work.
Yes.
I got two beautiful built-in ones now, but it's that combination of noises that kind of get me and then Matt has an occasional talk low.
I do talk
in him,
low. Yeah,
Yeah,
I do.
Matt
you noticed
will
that, Leanne?
have a conversation with someone on the show low while the real conversation during the show is going on.
And so
So
I
like
fight
it
that one.
comes
JJ.
across terrible on radio, but me and him are laughing our ass off.
And so I fight that one because I'm trying to figure out, what did he just say? What should I have heard that? That type of stuff. So anyway, any clues? And I do not have wax in my ear. Unfortunately, I was hoping I did. I was hoping I had fluid or something.
That would have been easy.
But
yes,
then,
we will have the good, bad, and the ugly theme music once again.
Which,
All
by
right,
the
I
way, we
appreciate
do
it.
recognize that there was a misspelling on the graphic of the good, the bad, the ugly.
Yeah, that's
since
my bad.
It's apologies.
Ocala Education.
Well,
Mike Pearson.
Yes.
Not Mike Peterson.
I had all these people coming.
Oh, that's right. They
I was
said,
like,
we
how
didn't draft
about
him.
how about in the words of the Dan Levitard show, you get the show. If you listen to the show, Matt Hayes knows who Mike Pearson is.
Yeah.
Like, enough.
And by the
And
way,
he might be on the list again
he'll
today.
be on the list again.
Yeah.
It's that forced high
And we
school
might
education.
misidentify him again.
Also, we want to stress that we are doing our set for each of us. We each have a top 12 in the good, the bad, and the ugly each, and we are going to have one player each per day, since I saw lots of people on Twitter being
Oh,
like,
yeah, we got crushed.
Where's this? Relax. It's a 12-day countdown.
Yeah, and that's why
it's going to be okay.
we have
Be
patented.
patient. This is what it used to be on cable television. You had to wait for the next episode. You had to come back the next day.
We have patented the Duval Dirty Dozen and or trademarked it, I guess is the proper way to say it. And so this is what we came up with this year as we count it down to the draft. And yesterday was 12 days on our calendar before we hit the mock draft and before we hit draft day. And so that's why we decided to do it. But this one was the good, the bad, the ugly theme. Play the theme, JJ, just so I can feel better about it. Just right now. See, there it is. I can totally hear it now. And I don't have my headphones on blast. But it's just the best. It's just the best. Because I go through life like a lot of times where my headphones, I can't even really hear myself. I just want to make sure I hear all of y'all. So it's low. But that's why I missed out.
Which of the spaghetti westerns are the best? Like High Plains Drifter's pretty good.
I'd have to go back and think about the theme or the storyline of all of them.
Fistful of Dollars.
Like Fistful of Dollars, the good, the bad, the ugly. If I go spaghetti westerns in Clint Eastwood,
Josie
honestly,
Wales, we got a lot of yesterday.
I love them, but my favorite western, and you know what, I probably could be talked out of it, but Tombstone's my favorite.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
How could it not be?
I'm your Huckleberry.
Yeah, exactly. Tombstone's my favorite. Now, there's so many other good ones that we saw. If you go back and just watch Rooster Cogburn and True Grit and some of those just old school ones.
The original.
Heck, yeah, even, what's his name? Jeff Bridges redid it. It wasn't bad at all.
Bad.
It was pretty good. And so you can't help but look back at the classics. But, yeah, hey.
Leon, where are you at with Westerns?
Hateful Eight.
Ooh,
pretty good.
Yeah, the Hateful Eight is pretty good. That's pretty good. But my all time. But listen, I always tell you if it's a good movie. If I know when I turn the channel, it doesn't matter where it is in the movie. I'm going to watch it.
Yeah, exactly.
Tombstone.
Yeah, Tombstone.
Doesn't matter. Tombstone could be halfway through or towards the end. I'm going to watch
and I can't help it, but I will, channel. I'll be a
Yeah.
Huckleberry.
I mean, Doc Holliday.
I
He's classic. Come on now.
He's the best.
Come on.
I'll give you an underrated one.
Yeah.
Road to Perdition.
Perdition was
that's
good.
like 1920s
that's
gangster
Prohibition.
movie.
Yeah,
though,
that's
right?
Prohibition.
It's not. No.
It is. Road to Perdition's Prohibition, I thought.
It's more. It's country.
Look, I can mix up movies. That's why every time I see a new one,
It's country.
It doesn't matter.
It's country enough.
Yeah.
There's no running pipes. I can tell you that.
Yeah, but that's not
Yeah,
Western.
this is not a Western.
still
I'm
outhouses,
sorry.
okay?
There's Tommy guns involved, and
Yeah.
It's
I went
Western.
to
no.
I went to
not.
Netflix and was just looking for something
If there's no running water, man.
the other night. Anyway, we went through a couple of old ones. Aviator. Hadn't seen it, and
Leo's the best.
Yeah, and Leonardo DiCaprio, honestly, is one of the most, like, he might even be able to play the disrespect card.
Because The Revenant should not have been the one that he won an Oscar for.
Yeah,
he won the best actor finally for.
Yeah, so many great roles, and he's such a
It's
good
like Paul
actor.
Newman finally won for Color
Yeah,
Money.
exactly. That's what I was saying
Stupid.
about.
We get a
Newman
Lifetime
is that-
Achievement Award.
Let me give you a sort of movie that takes place out west. You wouldn't consider it a Western, but phenomenal. There Will Be Blood.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's one of Michael in the Middle. That's one of his favorites,
Woo!
and I'm telling you
That's
what,
a heavy one.
It's something else, man.
The ending.
I thought you were going to say Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Oh, that a different West.
Now was There Will Be Blood? Was that Coen Brothers?
No, that was Paul Thomas Anderson.
Yeah,
Okay. It was good. It was good. There definitely have been some
I
great.
think you're thinking of No Country for Old Men, which was Coen Brothers.
Such
Yeah, that was a good
That
movie. That was a
movie
great
is
movie.
badass.
But that's not. Is that no? It's not a Western.
That's not a
though.
Western.
No,
It's
But
like
it's
a
outstanding
No, it's
movie.
Coen Brothers.
It
Such
was
a good
movie.
I mean, he was
thriller.
ruthless. He was ruthless in that movie.
So, dude, that thing that they kill the cows with,
Yeah.
that he's just like walking around with, oh my gosh, brutal. What do you call those?
It's some kind of air gun. I don't know.
Yeah. But Howard Hughes, what a fascinating character Howard Hughes was in Aviator.
Yeah.
So anyway, there's a bunch of good ones that we will.
Campo, by the way, is saying Magnificent Seven.
That's really good too.
I've never seen that.
Yeah, that's a really good one. Look, there's so many good old school ones. You go back and just forget about all the, like, today's world. You got to be able to, cinematography your way to an award or whatever. Just a good story and good filmmaking. There's so many good ones from.
That's the Hateful Eight.
Back in the
Magnificent Seven
Oh,
was the
that's
classic.
Oh,
So he named
I
his
see.
the
I
Hateful
see.
Eight.
Real quick before we get off movies, I was told, and now I have to watch it. My brother, who has very similar interests and tastes in me with movies, said, "Dude, I'm not joking. The new Top Gun was awesome."
Yes.
So I'll
That's
get back
good.
to you with that,
Yeah.
Matt. I might have to apologize.
Yeah. I liked it.
Matt didn't like it.
It didn't have everything, but I liked it. Look, I never heard of the Mach 10 they speak of, but they still made it fun. They made it exciting, that's for sure. If Vern Lundquist was watching that compared to the drone going down Rage Creek, he would have lost it, that's for sure. It was something else. All right, so let's get back to AR, and let's just set up the conversation around him.
And we do have a Twitter poll out.
So let's
Question
first
of the
talk
day.
about what we were talking about in the
Yeah.
pre-meeting
Yeah.
because I think that's kind of like the genesis of what
Which
we
is
wanna
also
talk
our
about.
Beaver Toyota question of the day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
can you remember a quarterback who struggled in college but became a good NFL quarterback? A lot of people were saying Tom Brady.
He didn't struggle. He had a great senior season. They
But-
beat Alabama in the Orange Bowl. He played really well.
Yeah, he definitely. In other words, the funny thing about Tom Brady is he had to split time, And it's hard to imagine that, but he did.
He played well as junior and senior year, actually.
But yeah, he had 2 years where he split time and was pretty good. And so you wouldn't look at him, if we pulled up his numbers, you wouldn't look at him and go, oh, those are dreadful. Now, the one guy that I have thought of that I do think qualifies. So basically what we're saying is Anthony Richardson is pedestrian, middle of the road, good, bad,
on
good,
a scale
bad.
of 1 to 10, like a 4.5 or 5 in Florida.
As they come. That's what he is. He's the enigma. And so will he be a success in the National Football League based on what you saw? There are very few guys that I could think of. One guy that popped in my head, Brad Johnson. Brad Johnson was, and by the way, he
wasn't the pure starter though.
Right.
He shared time.
But again, that kind of goes to what we're talking about. In other words, if he was so good, he should have not.
Well, he had
split
Casey
time.
Weldon with him, who was a great college player.
Totally get it.
And when he did play, he played well.
But all I'm simply saying is that he had a less than stellar college quarterback record and went on to win a Super Bowl. Now, was he the reason they won the Super Bowl? Probably not.
When was he selected in the draft?
Yeah, he wasn't projected top 5, though.
Yeah, exactly. He was way down.
I still think he actually did not play that poorly at Florida State. He actually played rather well.
Yeah, that was when Bobby had it rolling, and they had the benefit of hey, that next guy up was going to be a third-year guy, or maybe even sometimes a redshirt
fourth-year junior.
Ninth round, by the way.
Ninth round?
Doesn't even exist anymore.
Yeah, exactly. So that's how far down Brad Johnson. The only reason I bring it up is because I'm digging and scratching to find a guy that was subpar in college that ended up playing well in the National Football League. He has the ring, but that was a great defensive team. And by the way, John Gruden and them, I'm sure, still laugh to this day that who was it? Bill Callahan was on the other side. They didn't change anything. He took over that program in Oakland that Gruden had built, and they didn't change anything when they got to the Super Bowl. Hey, I got an idea. We're facing the guy who used to be here. We should put in some new signals. They didn't do anything.
Right. I guess my kind of point from the earlier in the meeting was if you're an NFL personnel guy, if you're a guy, general manager, if you're making this decision, how do you not look at the history of this position?
Right.
And a guy has never come from college and been an average college quarterback and suddenly been a great NFL quarterback.
Yeah.
Like, how do you not look at that? It's how the league is built. It's what it is.
What they're going to do is they're going to look at it afterwards.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the criteria for quarterbacks is different from everybody else. That's why they get a pass. They get a pass. As you just look at it for the last couple of years, where you got the Trey Lances, you got Zach Wilson who came along. I mean, they were what? One-hit wonders. They had one solid year.
But he had a great year. Zach Wilson had a great last year.
He did have one great last year. But Trey Lance, I mean, all the
And by the way, Zach Wilson's not any good in the NFL.
No, he's not.
And look at the schedule they played, and it was just honestly, he got a lot of love for a variety of reasons. There wasn't I guess they wanted to get trendy and pick someone not named Trevor Lawrence, and they were looking for a storyline. Which, by the way, the draft. This part of the year has become a cottage industry. They create stories out of this. This is a niche cottage industry, and they need something to advance the storyline instead of everyone just saying, yeah, Trevor's the best. I mean, heck, remember, who was it, Orlovsky, Phil Simms, Chris Simms, excuse me. Handful of these guys, they went out on Zach over Trevor. And I'm like, what?
By the way, speaking of Simms, he has Will Anderson as his 5th-rated pass rusher. Did you see that yesterday?
Mm-hmm.
Behind,
fifth.
Yes,
Yeah.
5th. Behind the likes.
Well, help, please.
The likes of. Are you ready for some of these names that he has?
I don't know, but let him fall to 24. I'll be all right with that.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. So hold on, let me find his actual.
There's your edge right
There we go.
Yeah,
Edge,
that works.
Edge ranking. So I know he's got Lucas Van Ness up there. Here it is. He's got Tyree Wilson at 1, who's visiting with the Jaguars, reportedly, by the way. Lucas Van Ness of Iowa at 2. Nolan Smith at 3. Will McDonald at 4. Will Anderson at 5.
Yeah.
Zach Harrison, then Miles Murphy, then Derek Hall.
That's something. All right, let's we will chase all these stories. Good questions to think about. Anthony Richardson, can you put another guy up there that was average at best in college? I think that's a fair description of Anthony Richardson. That was a hit in the National Football League at that position. If you want to offer up other ones, that's fine. No problem with that. Beaver Chevy, Beaver Toyota, they bring you today's show. Don't forget BeaverChevrolet.com, BeaverToyota.com, and you can log on and start shopping right there.
A quick basketball note before we take our first break. Cue the world's smallest violin for the Miami basketball fans and women's basketball fans around the country. The Cavender twins will not use their 5th year of eligibility via the COVID transfer rule, and they will begin their professional career, but they didn't specify if that's basketball, is that some other venture with their TikTok channel, their podcast. That remains to be seen.
Yeah.
But sorry, Miami fans, you had a great run to the Elite Eight, Leon and JJ.
No reason to be sorry. We got what we wanted to get out of it.
In
got an Elite Eight.
In their farewell, they said they want to end their college
there
career.
was a draft last night, wasn't there?
There was a draft.
That's all you care about, that one run, huh?
Which Destiny Harden of Miami got drafted, only 7th Cane ever.
I saw that.
Yeah.
What, she go, 27th overall? Something like that?
Yeah. It's kind of weird timing the day after the draft.
Yeah, that the Cavender twins announced.
Yeah.
Even though they did celebrate.
When you don't get drafted and you're like, yeah, I'm going pro in TikTok.
Right, exactly.
Like, yeah, because you're not going pro in this.
Well, that's why I
They
appreciate,
decided you're not
Well,
going
they can go
pro.
overseas. I'm sure they got appeal over the seas.
Yeah, they can go overseas. But I
absolutely.
find
Yeah,
it
make
funny,
some money.
all the instant Twitter trolls that are like, oh, they're actually going to sign with WWE or something like that. They're the next big thing.
Yeah, they will take it.
What if they did?
Yeah.
They'd make a lot of money.
Exactly. Whatever you can do,
Yes.
do.
Those two already make. I mean, what? They were the 2nd and 3rd most profitable NIL athletes in the country last year.
It's a great success story. It really is. There's
I'll
so
tell you who's
much
making
out
some
there.
NIL money right now. That Florida basketball team.
Hey, listen,
Yeah.
again, I up
What's
my
the number
ante.
one portal class right now?
Yeah, I up my ante.
What'd you up to?
Thanks,
what?
Joe.
I doubled it. I
You
said,
got
They've
a
rebranded
big
now, by
man
the way.
from
Basketball
Marshall coming.
school.
I said,
The Gator
want,
Collective is now Florida Victorious. They've
I want
rebranded.
this $9.99 to go to football and this $9.99 to go to basketball. Now do something, please. It's XL Primetime.
Cruising with XL Primetime in the First Coast Honda Dealer Studios on 1010XL.
Start sequence 1.
Unleash the excitement of Jacksonville Sports Radio.
Ignition.
XL.
Joe C. for the Preferred Group, Preferred Builders, Preferred Roofing. They've got a gutter division, they've got a drywall division, and they really can handle a lot of those tough decisions when you're trying to make, whether it's remodeling, whether it's a brand new building, whether it's replacing a roof. You need local people that can make sure that they're, well, they don't want to spend your money and not give you a return on your investment. They want to make sure they give you what you paid for. So make sure you check them out. Locally owned and operated. Been in the community for a long time. PreferredRoofingJacks.com and PreferredBuildersJacks.com.
Honda has done it again with their all-new exciting SUV and truck lineup for 2023. HRV, Pilot, Passport, Ridgeline trucks, and our popular CRV Hybrid. This is without a doubt Honda's most impressive lineup. Visit your local Honda dealer today. We're dealing.
This is Hayes Carline for Island Wing Company, located on Southside near Tinseltown, and our new location at Bartram Park in St. Johns County. Two great locations offering the ultimate sports bar experience where you can stick to healthy options. Island Wing Company has a wide selection of fryer-free food. The wings are baked, not fried, with so many awesome flavors to choose from. You can also get delicious salmon, tuna, flatbreads, and tacos. With tons of spectacular TVs, dog-friendly patios, and 2 daily happy hours, Island Wings can't be beat.
'Tis the season to be cool. Florida Home AC wants to make sure you're not cooked like a Christmas goose this summer. Make sure your AC unit is ready for the heat, and if it's time to look at replacement, look for quality and value. You'll get that from Florida Home AC. And right now, take advantage of $1,750 off a brand new heating and AC unit. Log on to FloridaHomeAC.com for all the details and trust a company that will always keep you cool. Florida Home AC, the official AC partner of the Jaguars.
Men, if you're struggling with erectile dysfunction or PE and frustrated taking pills that don't work, Prime Men's Medical Center offers breakthrough medical treatments that effectively treat your problem. 98% of patients experience immediate results during their first office visit. And for a limited time, your initial consultation and first treatment are completely free. Listen to a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Rubinski. The physicians at Prime Men's Medical Center offer the most advanced treatments that eliminate ED and PE. Now men are lasting 30, 60, 90 minutes or longer, regardless of age or medical history.
Guys, to eliminate your frustration in the bedroom, call Prime Men's Medical Center now to take advantage of this exclusive limited-time offer. Your initial consultation and first treatment are totally free, and you'll see instant results right in the office. Call now, 904-664-8217. 904-664-8217. That's 904-664-8217.
This is Frank Frangie. Join Dan Hickett and me for All Things Gators, our podcast presented by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists with new episodes every Monday. Subscribe and listen by searching for 1010XL Florida Gators Podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or TuneIn.
Guggen Golf is coming.
Hey, so where do we tee off?
Listen to The Drill with Jeff and Dan for a chance for you and a partner to play in this year's Coastal Equipment Guggen Golf Open, April 17th at Hidden Hills Golf Club. Enjoy a Chick-fil-A breakfast and a Dandy Foods lunch. Score a hole-in-one to win a Kubota zero-turn mower from Coastal Equipment. You could also win a Bernie grill from Stonecore.
Drinks are on me.
Water provided by Darley's Plumbing. Thanks to our sponsors, Andy's Automotive and Truck Service and Fourscore Tavern.
Fact, we all want to feel better, especially when our joints hurt. Are you stuck on the sidelines but want to get back in the game of life? My friend Dr. Alan Nathans has a no-needle regenerative clinic for people with degenerated arthritic joints, like bone-on-bone knees, shoulders, hips, and more. He uses no-needle soft wave tissue regeneration technology that activates your own stem cells to grow brand new tissue. Long-term results. Don't do another cortisone injection. Dance at 50, golf at 60, river run at 70. Yes, yes, and yes. Check out Dr. Nathans at drnathans.com.
Calling all poker players, brace yourselves for an epic month of poker at Best Bet Orange Park this April. In honor of our 15th anniversary, we're giving away $15,000 in high-end promotions on Saturday, April 15th. And that's not all. Our highly popular $400 no-limit Hold'em Greater Orange Park Open with a guaranteed prize pool of $40,000 is happening on April 22nd. Don't miss your chance to participate in these exciting events. For more information, visit bestbetjacks.com. That's bestbetjacks.com.
What if you could be credit card debt-free in 10 days and save as much as $1,000 a month? Loan Pronto's all-new Express Equity Line of Credit program is just what you need. Hey, it's Prosser here. You don't have to do a full home refi. You can tap a small portion of the equity you have and enjoy a super low monthly payment. With Loan Pronto's Express Equity Credit Line, you can close in 7 to 10 days, and a $50,000 loan will only cost you around $400 a month. Use that money and pay off high-interest credit cards or do a home improvement project. You can access up to 90% of your home's equity, and 9 out of 10 homeowners won't even need an appraisal. So even if you did a total refi recently or just bought your home, you can tap the equity with this fast, easy program. Stop the madness. Say no to 24% interest fees. Call Loan Pronto today. 904-999-1508. That's 904-999-1508. Or as always, you can visit loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval.
The IRS has just received $80 billion in funding to hire additional agents for aggressive collections enforcement. If you owe the IRS, now is the time to take action before the IRS comes after you or your business. There's no time to waste. Call J. David Tax Law, a firm right here in Jacksonville, for a no-cost consultation at 904-507-4777. That's 904-507-4777. Or visit jdavidtaxlaw.com. Peace of mind is only a click or phone call away.
This 1010XL 92.5 FM hour is powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733. That just happened. Brought to you by Florida Home AC, the official air conditioning partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Well, you've got Florida that is kind of poking their chest out a little bit. I am a little amused by the fact that they have renamed their collective, which, Matt, you can give us the details on that. But the fact that they have moved up in the portal rankings by landing a couple of key transfers. Walter Clayton, 6 foot, 395-pound guard, last 2 seasons under Rick Pitino at Iona, and he is joined by now a 7'1" center as well. So when you're talking about Florida and the beating that they've taken on the basketball court and beyond, they are happy that they've got 4-star transfers with the Iona guard and the Marshall 7'1" center, Micah, coming into Gainesville.
Which, depending on if you're looking at On3 or 247, both those guys top 50, if not top 20 in the transfer portal rankings. And so that's why there's been some reports out there, depending again on which ranking site you use, that Florida, number 1, top 10, top 5 transfer portal class. Does that matter to you? I know we talked a lot on this program about Florida State on the football side of things being the number one transfer portal class from a year ago.
Yeah, I think it's legit because if you're looking at recruiting rankings and using them as a litmus test as to whether or not you're getting good players, the transfer portal rankings have to count because we're seeing a lot of – just take a look at Miami. A lot of guys that stepped onto the floor in basketball.
I don't think.
But heck, Matt,
I think they're just stopgaps in football still.
Well, but still, think about what
if you recruit poorly in football.
Yeah,
that's where you need that stopgap.
Right, but in Mike Norvell's case, they had recruited poorly,
right,
and they needed to elevate quickly.
Yes,
and you can take a look and see what Brian. You know what I look at?
3 straight years he did.
Yeah, you know what I look at more than anything else? Those quarterbacks that are in and out of the portal, how they make teams better.
Yeah,
and I think that legitimizes those transfer portal rankings right from the jump.
Yeah,
because of how important the quarterback is.
I don't think there's any question. I mean, if you look at how Mike Norvell has turned it around, he's turned around the portal.
Mm-hmm.
He hasn't turned it around with recruiting. They're still not that good in recruiting.
Mm-hmm.
I should say not as good as they used to be in their heyday as a recruiting. Even with Jimbo Fisher, they're not that good. So when Jimbo's days, I should say, Jimbo was terrific. So they're not there yet. They're not even close to that yet. But he's doing it with transfer portal players. It's rare that you're going to see a program do that.
Mm-hmm.
They have the benefit, and you can get mad at this all you want. They also have the benefit of playing in the ACC. It's easier to build through the portal if you're playing in a conference where you're not. It's not a rock fight every week.
Yeah.
So that's what Florida's dealing with right now. That's what Texas A&M dealt with. That's why they zeroed in on high school. Let's start paying the high school players to come sign with us.
Mm-hmm.
Florida now has gone 3 years without realizing that's how you do it now. You've got to pay these guys. The high school players have to be paid, whether you like it or not, whether you agree with it or not philosophically. This is how you get great recruiting classes. And Alabama, Georgia are doing it just like Texas A&M does it, just like LSU does it, just like Ohio State does it, and Michigan does it, and USC does it. That's how you get players now. And if you don't do that, guess what? You're 6-6, and you're losing to Oregon State in the Las Vegas Bowl.
Well, I would argue Jared Verse and Jermaine Johnson were more than stopgaps. I mean, they were the go-to sack getters for Mike Norvell back-to-back years.
They had no. My point is, they had no rush ends.
Yeah,
they couldn't get the quarterback, so they needed guys like that.
Yeah, but they immediately made impact.
Yeah, of course.
And there's no question about it.
Of course.
And look at where Jermaine Johnson was able to elevate his draft status because of how dominant he was. Jared Verse is coming back, and certainly will have a good chance to have a lot of good eyes on him over the course of this coming season. That's for sure.
All right, let's get it back to our question of the day, brought to you by Beaver Toyota and staying within the college football ranks. Can you remember a college quarterback who struggled at the collegiate level but then became a good NFL quarterback? On the text line, brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures, I've seen a couple votes for Josh Allen. This one from 7171. Josh Allen's college career, this is Rob in Fernandina Beach, by the way. He says, Josh Allen's college career wasn't great either, but obviously he has become pretty damn good in the National Football League. I saw a couple votes for Jacoby Brissett as well, and then there's another one that I really like from Ray on the text line, brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures, who says, Phil Simms sucked at Morehead State, but had a solid career with the Giants.
All right, it's so funny because JD, my buddy from Sunset, is texting at the same time about Phil Simms. So I went and just Googled Phil Simms. So listen to this. Coming into the draft, he had just over 1,000 yards passing. He had 6 touchdowns and 11 interceptions and a passing completion rate of 53. That's pretty bad.
Also, I agree with you. It's bad.
That would be
different
that
era.
would qualify.
Completely different era. But I will agree with you that certainly. And he's also from a small school. So I mean, you.
Well, yeah, but that alone is a risk. And
he was like what was his? What round was he picked?
Phil Simms.
Yeah, he was drafted late. But the other thing is
20th round maybe.
If you are,
he wasn't the 3rd or 1st overall pick.
Yeah, but if you are looking at a lower level school, you're already reaching. Right?
He actually was, for what it's worth. He was the 7th overall pick.
Was he really?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so they went through Morehead State. I'm glad that both JD and Ray brought these up. 1979, his senior year, they were going through a rebuild or a struggle. 2-6-1 season in his senior year. So 2-6-1. Anthony Richardson crushes compared to that. And coming into the draft.
You know what? You found someone. Congratulations.
Yeah. Believe me.
Once in a generation.
Exactly. It's been a minute since Phil came up and came through. But anyway, there's at the very least a guy that they said, you know what, we think we can do something with him. Now let's remind everybody, when Phil Simms came into the National Football Football League, Leon, they were running it more than they were throwing it.
Yeah.
Okay, it was a
Different
running
era.
back central.
It was
offense.
totally different era. I mean, it was a run game essentially. It was built upon solid defense and running the football. And if you think about those Phil Sim teams, especially with the New York Giants,
Yeah.
I mean, first of all, he had a hellified offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
He had a defense that was just
The best in the
the
league.
best in the league. I mean, Phil says
Yeah,
he
LT,
was
you ever
basically
heard
a
of him?
facilitator.
Yeah.
He was basically a facilitator. He had
Dave Meggett,
He had
Otis
Dave Meggett,
Anderson.
Otis Anderson.
Yeah,
he had Bavaro. He had
literally-
Bavaro on this
yeah, that
team
was
as
literally
well.
a run-oriented team.
Yeah, exactly.
And so you go to his first
Always telling me to stay in my area. Y'all stay in y'all area.
first 3 years, 42 picks, 39 touchdowns. Yeah, they were probably ready to run him right out of the building early on. But
That
yeah.
1979 NFL draft. Are you ready for some of the names?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna butcher this first one, so I need your help with it, Matt. Tom
Cousineau.
Tom Cousineau, linebacker, Ohio State, the number 1 overall pick to the Buffalo Bills. Mike Bell, defensive end, Colorado State, number 2 overall to the Kansas City Chiefs. Jack Thompson, quarterback, Wazoo, 3rd overall.
Wow.
Throwing Samoan.
Dan Hampton, defensive tackle, Arkansas.
A future decorating.
Hall of Famer.
Yep.
Number 4. Bills had 2 top 5 picks in that draft. They selected Jerry Butler, a wide receiver. So, again, only 1 quarterback off the board, and you have a wide receiver out of Clemson. He was a Pro Bowler. Then Barry Krause, linebacker out of Alabama. And then Phil Simms out of Morehead State to the New York Giants, the 2nd quarterback off the board.
Brett Favre.
Kellen Winslow, by the way, went 13th overall to the San Diego Chargers.
Brett Favre's completion percentage in college, 52. 52. He threw for 52 touchdowns and 34 picks.
It's about 40 touchdowns more than Anthony Richardson.
Oh, yeah. But I'm just saying, at the
He also
very
beat
least.
Florida State.
And that's what Brett Favre was in a lot of ways, a risk taker, a gunslinger, all that stuff in the NFL. And he ended up throwing just about as many picks as he threw touchdowns. But, boy, was he exciting. And so now I don't know whether any team's going to be able to put up with that nearly as much.
So 6647 says Kurt Warner. I have some thoughts here. Kurt Warner played.
What was his Arena League record?
So his Arena League record, exactly,
played
correct.
Northern Iowa.
Right, he played in Northern
Northern
Iowa.
Iowa,
He didn't start until his senior year, as was documented in the great movie done on him. I can tell you this, Mark Farley was not the coach at UNI back then, but UNI has a history of not really developing quarterbacks, let's say, and it kind of being a little polarizing in terms of roster movement pretty much across the board. And listen, they have obviously, Kurt Warner's in the Hall of Fame. They've developed some other big names that have gone to the league. But yeah, no, Kurt Warner did not play till his senior year, and even then, he was benched at different points. So I would agree with that. He wasn't an all-star in college, so that is a good one. But I think a lot of it had to do with he didn't really have the opportunity.
Yeah, but if he goes from bagging groceries to an MVP.
He wasn't drafted, was he?
No, he was undrafted.
He was
Undrafted the Packers. Well, he was undrafted, Kurt Warner. He was in that same quarterback camp with the Packers, with Favre. I think Doug was up there at the time. Let me pull it up. So
All
yeah,
right, I'm thinking
here
of
it was.
another
No,
one.
Burnell. So this was the quarterback room in 1994 Green Bay Packers training camp, of which Kurt Warner, a future Hall of Famer, lasted 3 days. Brett Favre, Mark Brunell, former Heisman Trophy winner Ty Detmer. That was the quarterback room. And the quarterback coach was Steve Mariucci, and Andy Reid was an offensive assistant, and Mike Holmgren was the head coach.
Yeah,
that's wild.
Yeah, that's a pretty good group right there. I just thought of Tony Romo. He was undrafted.
That's true.
So I figured I'd go back and at least see, okay, if you're undrafted, that means you may not have risen to the top.
Well, I think the fan base is missing the point. We're not saying that Anthony Richardson somewhere down the line can't be developed into a quality football player.
Right.
We're saying that his inconsistency, historically, his inconsistencies at the collegiate level should not merit him being a top 3 pick.
Like, just marry up the idea that he could go number 1 in the draft or
That's
top 5, which is that's honestly why we zeroed in on this, because he's the one. He's the the guy you can't figure out. By the way, Romo, Hall of Famer in college, 62.8% completion percentage, 7,800 yards, 82 touchdowns, 34 picks. Oh, thank you, Tony. I felt the exact same way. Thank you very much.
On the subject of Anthony Richardson, we could kind of hit at that for this one because we haven't really talked about it yet.
That just happened. Brought to you by Florida Home AC, the official air conditioning partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I guess we kind of did when we were discussing the Todd Golden Express in the transfer portal. But the Gator Collective has changed ownership. It is now called Florida Victorious. Here is their all-star lineup of advisors, boys. Anthony Richardson, Laura Rutledge, our boy Pat Young, Trey Burton, just to name a few.
Yeah, I don't know whether Timmy would be involved with that because he's been involved.
Timmy's not listed on that.
Yeah, he's involved with the NFT part of it, so I'm not quite sure exactly where that all is going to go. But they need to make sure, and I like the fact
Hugh
that
Hathcock is still listed, by the way.
Well, they're listening to younger voices that can move the meter. They're influencers in the sport, and so they need to look at it and say, okay, let's deal in the real here. We are losing ground to all of our neighbors, okay? It's not like we're losing ground to Wazoo up in the Northwest. We're losing ground, or how about this? Haven't gained any ground. Is that
or
maybe
how about
the better?
this? Hadn't spent money.
Yeah, well, I mean, is that the better way to put it? Haven't gained any ground because they lost ground a long time ago. Haven't gained any ground on the Georgias, the Bamas, heck, Tennessee has gained ground. You can name a few others. LSU has always been a very solid recruiting school, but now even Brian Kelly's come in and kind of put them rolling in the right direction again.
Can I ask a very ignorant question real quick, Matt, about NILs that I'm sure other people are wondering? So the Florida Gator, the Florida Gator account just tweeted this out. Next chapter in NIL, like Mia just said, it's called Florida Victorious Proud NIL partner with the Gators. I thought all of this had to be non-affiliated with the school.
No, not true.
No.
Nope. They can't actually make deals.
Right.
The most recent law passed by the state of Florida, they can serve as like a go-between, but they cannot make deals.
Okay.
So in other words, Billy Napier can tell the Florida Collective, which is now Victorious Florida, Florida Victoria, whatever, just spend money.
I'm getting
they
Legends Leaders vibes from that name, by the way.
Right, completely. So
Victoria.
Billy Napier could now tell those guys, these are the guys we're going
that
after.
I want.
These are the guys we're going after.
Instead of just Ruiz.
This is the importance of the guys we're going. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
For some reason, I thought that. I guess that was before the law was passed.
Yeah,
that they couldn't be affiliated.
Because you obviously have to get the direction of where the program wants you to go with those dollars, where you're directing them.
I mean, don't kid yourself. They were anyway.
Well, say that again. See, that's the part we're talking about.
They
right
were
there.
anyway, but
yeah.
I mean,
see, JJ. Now we're zeroing in
I
on
heard
this.
him, but I understand what Joe's point is.
Which is sort of like
he speaks slowly.
But he's
making a point.
I had a friend.
It's sort of like Alabama when people say Alabama doesn't pay for players.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they don't pay top dollar because they don't have to. They
of
can
course
put pressure.
they do, Joe.
Yeah, but
how do you think they got that great class this year?
Yeah, well, but they had been getting great classes.
Right. How do you think they had been getting great classes?
Well, let's use
paying money.
That I don't doubt, but I'm just talking about in the NIL world, they don't have to pay over the top. Like, at least the stories have come out where Nick's been able to, you're going to come to me and tell me that not only do you need to get paid $800,000, you need to get a spot for your girlfriend in a grad program.
And what happened to that guy? He went to Colorado because Colorado did it for him.
Oh,
Cormani McLean.
I think we're talking about whether Alabama paid, and Alabama didn't.
Right.
Alabama
well,
said,
because
you
he
need
got
to go
to
ahead
the point
and hit
where
the
he's
road,
not
pal.
going to. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. He drew a line right there with that guy.
Right.
That's fine.
Right. And so
that's fine. But all I'm saying is, he got these 9 5-stars or 8 5-stars this year because he paid more than Texas A&M and LSU and Georgia. Florida.
When I look at successful programs, there's a reason they're successful because they got a system and players pay attention to that.
Of course they do.
Okay. And when Jimbo spent and outspent everybody and got no results, guess what? Those guys started turning around looking at Alabama again. So I don't think Alabama has to spend nearly as much as maybe the others have to. Georgia, do they have to spend as much now?
I love your naivete.
I'm being honest. I know there are transactions.
That's how you. I mean, literally, they spent more money than everybody else before NIL, and now they're spending more money than anybody else right now.
Yeah.
And what happened was
that cheating son of a gun.
Listen, what had happened was
Savages.
when Texas A&M got that huge class. You know why Nick was so upset? Because he didn't understand the whole rules of everything. Okay, he wasn't down on the whole rules. He didn't think it could be something like it was. Jimbo realized, okay, the rule there are no rules. And I can just offer straight cash, Straight cash. And if you're a high school player, you're coming out of high school. Okay, you're Joe Cowart, star wide receiver, St. Joe.
Yeah,
right?
my dad was a Regal ride.
And you've got Alabama.
Shock absorber salesman.
Right. You've got Alabama and Texas A&M coming after you, right?
Yeah.
Two great programs. One's clearly better than the other, okay? But the program that's not better than the other, lesser of the two programs, is going to offer you $200,000 over 3 years. The better program is going to offer you $150,000 over 3 years. What are you going to do?
Well, I probably would go 150 because it's a better program. And I know that I've got a chance to be a star.
All right, let me go to the guy who played it. Leon?
I'm looking at future
150
earnings.
or 200,000?
I'm looking at future earnings.
Depends on the location for me.
Well, one's
One's
College
Texas,
Station and one's Tuscaloosa.
I would probably go College Station.
And the
Which is the more money.
I guess
Yeah.
my point is the more money is going to give the players.
Yeah, I certainly wouldn't argue with that.
Typically, but there's outliers.
And by
There
the
are
way-
outliers, yes.
and by the way,
100% there's outliers.
Yeah, that was close enough where I'm like, all right, you know what? I can live with that.
And that goes
He's
to
gonna
my
turn me
point with
into a
Florida.
star.
Is at some point you've got to step up and say, what are they paying you, 150? All right, we'll pay you 150.
Yeah. Yeah, and if they do get into match
And I'm
it
just
mode,
using that number. That's all I'm
right.
it's
But
not a number.
if they get into match it mode, then yeah, that's what they need to do. They need to be competitive. I totally get that. I just feel like
It's what the game is now,
Yeah,
whether you like it or not.
Right. I just feel like when you got it rolling, you do have some leverage. Not saying you have all the leverage.
You have,
but you have
look,
some leverage.
This is what I've said all along, right? And we talked about this. At some point, the money will be the same. At that point, then it's who's going to get me to the NFL East
Okay, but
better.
But aren't we saying right now that it's basically the same?
I don't know that it is because I
Okay.
think you're getting Georgia or Texas A&M or LSU, and they're saying, all right, we'll pay you more. Or USC saying, we're going to pay you more. Or Tennessee's telling Nico Iamaleava, got it that time, we're going to pay you $8 million. I don't care what anybody's paying. We're going to pay $8 million.
Yeah, that is when you just absolutely overwhelm your
Yes.
target. You say, okay,
Yes.
yeah, I am giving you.
That's a
you
smart
will
bomb.
not. You will not entertain any other offer, and that is how a lot of moonshine money was cashed in to get Tennessee back to where they needed to be up on
That was
Rocky
Joe
Top.
Cowart that said that, not me.
Yeah, that's Mr. 10. I know, big oil. That's exactly who I'm talking about right there.
Staying in NIL, a second women's basketball reference in 1 hour. How dare she? Aaliyah Boston, drafted number 1
You are
overall.
doing it, aren't you?
No,
Yeah,
but
you're not afraid.
there's an NIL evaluation
Yeah.
to this.
Okay.
So this is from the boardroom on Twitter, which of course is Kevin Durant's production company.
Mhm.
Aaliyah Boston, drafted number 1 overall, WNBA draft out of South Carolina last night. She was making $118,000 in NIL value per year. Her WNBA salary will be $72,000.
That's something else. That's crazy, and good for her, honestly. And
She's essentially taking a pay cut, though.
yeah,
It's-
but
it's
you could go,
crazy.
but she'll still probably figure out a way to be.
Oh, yeah, because she'll get endorsements and
yeah.
stuff like that.
But
so.
it's just funny that South Carolina said this is a frontier that is untapped, sans UConn. Okay, Tennessee's faded. Let's be that next big school in the South that's willing to pay and get attention on our program, and you do have to give them credit. That's what they've done.
I do think there's something to be said. The top players, whether that's the Anthony Richardsons, to bring this full circle, or the Bryce Youngs, they're always going to go to the pros. But I think you are going to see, Matt, more of these guys that come back for the 4th year, even though, yes, they want to take care of their families, they want to go play professionally. But if they're going to be a day 3 pick in the NFL draft, why not come back, try to improve your stock? And if you can make that NIL money on the side, you can also afford to take care of your family.
Well, and it's injuries now. It's wear and tear and injuries. Like, especially if you're an offensive player, if you're a running back, if you're a wide receiver, really any offensive player, it's wear and tear. So the reason is going to be, okay, I can get X amount, but do I want to go through another season of college ball where I'm not earning, extended earning? Because when you get in the NFL, you've got contracts for 4 or 5 years.
Wear and tear, man.
Yeah.
Wear and
Yeah.
tear. It's like I look at that, and I try and match it up with Dimitri Emmanuel has been granted a 7th year of eligibility at Florida State. 7th year.
Well, here's the thing: if your projection is day 3, you have no alternative but to come back.
Right.
The stock is so low, you have to come back for that NIL money.
If you believe you could, yeah,
absolutely. If you're a day 3 player,
yeah.
I mean, you're talking about what, 5th through 7th round. I mean, you've got to come back. Your projection,
But again,
4th through 7th round.
a lot of people don't understand this, and this is a God's honest truth. A lot of these guys go early. They don't want to be in school. They don't want to go through school.
Yeah, it's not
they don't
for
want to go to
everybody.
class. They don't want to deal with it.
Yeah.
They just
and-
want to play ball. And there's
and by
nothing
the way,
wrong with that.
Yeah,
There's
a half a
nothing
million.
wrong with that.
A half a million could speak to you that
Yeah.
way. It really can. This is all I got to concentrate on and nothing else. All right, into the 1 o'clock hour. We got our good, bad, and ugly coming.
Yeah, we got our Duval Dirty Dozen. Again, this is going to be the 11th ranked good draft pick, bad draft pick, an ugly draft pick by your Jacksonville Jaguars, historically speaking, from each of your 4 favorite hosts on XL Primetime. It is a Tuesday. We are rolling it from 1010XL World Headquarters. This is 1010XL 92.5 FM.
You're riding in the First Coast Honda Dealer Studios. XL Primetime on 1010XL. Get a Gator baseball chomp on 1010XL.
It's the battle of state powerhouses. Florida State. Tonight at 6 on 1010 AM. Okay, for this Cannons of Jacksonville commercial, we need an idea to really come out with a bang.
Like having a guy shot out of a cannon.
Nah, too messy. In fact, Cannons is known for all your towing needs.
So like my car won't start.
No. Towing products. Cannons does custom welding fabrication and installation of trailer hitches, goosenecks, tow bars, truck racks.
So you might say Cannons is my best shot at finding that inventory in stock?
Boom. You said it.
Visit cannonsofjacks.com.
Mia O'Brien here for my friends at Duck Duck Rooter, the experts when it comes to all things relating to plumbing and septic. Maybe you're planning a full plumbing repipe for your older home, or you need help with a new septic system installation. Duck Duck Rooter can handle it. From septic tank pump outs, drain field installations, clogged drains, new water heater installations, they do it all. Duck Duck Rooter is also a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. So when you're stuck, just call the Duck, 904-862-6769 or online at duckduckrooter.com.
Jacksonville is a great place to live. And if you love where you live, you should invest in it. That's why more and more people bank with One-to-One Financial, Jacksonville's hometown credit union. We invest every penny back into North Florida, backing the very best small businesses, nonprofits, and of course the family home. Why put your money with some big out-of-state bank when you can invest in where you love to live? One-to-One Financial, we're your hometown credit union. Sign up today at one-to-one-fcu.org. Federally insured by NCUA.
It's that time of year, beach and biking and NFL draft season. Head on down to Sliders Oyster Bar in Neptune Beach, where you'll find the absolute freshest seafood in all of Duval. The biggest shrimp, the saltiest oysters, the freshest fish, all here at our newly renovated restaurant in Neptune Beach. The draft is coming up, so pull up a chair to the bar, get a dozen, and let's see who our Jags add to the roster. Our roster is already full with the freshest Sliders Oyster Bar in Neptune Beach, locally owned by Safe Harbor Seafood.
This is Hayes Carlion for Kingfish Pest Control, a local family-owned business that specializes in pest, termites, mosquito, and rodent prevention. I tell you what, when I got my new home, I had to put on my reporter's hat, find out who really is the best, and it turns out there's no competition. Kingfish provides exceptional service and treats me like a valued customer, not just an account. That's why I wholeheartedly recommend Kingfish Pest Control, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I'm here with Clayton Bromberg of Underwoods. Clayton, let's talk about diamond cutting. How is a diamond price affected by the way it is cut?
Frank, that's probably the most important question asked about diamonds, because the trade-off between a diamond cut for maximum beauty and one that's not is the diamond's carat weight. You see, diamond cutters buy rough diamonds based on quality and weight. So as they cut the rough diamond, everything cut away affects profits. However, there's specific known cutting parameters, and each deviation from these means they have a heavier, less beautiful diamond. Unfortunately, a customer can't detect all those cutting imperfections. They need expert help about a diamond's cut grade. You see, for any round diamond of a particular color, clarity, and carat weight, there are as many as 10 different prices that can vary by as much as 50%. At Underwoods, we look specifically at how a diamond's cut before we look at anything else, because it's the most important factor when it comes to a diamond's beauty, and to us, whether it should carry the Underwood name or not.
Home of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
What is the only NFL team to defeat the Pittsburgh Steelers twice in the same season at Heinz Field?
It's always a good idea to compare homeowners' insurance rates instead of renewing year in and year out. Log on to southernoak.com and get an instant quote in minutes.
Our family protecting yours, Southern Oak Insurance.
The Jacksonville Jaguars are the only NFL team to beat the Steelers twice at Heinz Field in the same season, and they've done it twice.
Southern Oak Insurance, our family protecting yours.
Why live with foot or ankle pain? If you have persistent pain, numbness, tingling, burning pain on the bottom of your foot, or swelling that doesn't improve with home treatment, it may be time to see Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute. Our foot and ankle specialists have innovative new options to help you get back in the swing of things without persistent pain that slows you down. Call JOI 2000 or go to joionline.net for an appointment.
April is Head and Neck Cancer Awareness Month. If caught early, this disease can be treated effectively. So take control of your health with the experts at Ackerman Cancer Center. Don't delay. Get screened for any symptoms. Visit AckermanCancerCenter.com.
It's such a great time of year. I'm with Greg Mackey from Cycles of Jacksonville, and Bike Week really kind of gets people thinking about what is the latest and greatest on-road, especially from Honda.
Absolutely. The new Honda Rebel lineup is fantastic. Anywhere from the 300 to 1100. The Gold Wing's always hot.
They're going to see guys going really fast down at Daytona, and then they can come to your showroom and check out what you've got.
The Supercross will kick it off. There's lots of festivities from Daytona, which will surely translate back to our dealership and back to our showroom.
Come check it out. Cycles of Jacksonville on Atlantic near Regency.
Now is the perfect time to make sure your home is protected from storms by scheduling a complimentary roof inspection with Universal Roof and Contracting. Protect your biggest investment, your home. Get a free wind mitigation with your full roof replacement plus a free Platinum Protection Warranty upgrade. This offer expires April 30th and restrictions apply. Universal Roof and Contracting, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. License number CCC 123-0147, CBC 125-8484.
UniversalRoof.com.
This is your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update brought to you by YMCA. I'm Taylor Dahl for 1010XL. Today, JU baseball versus Georgia Southern game originally scheduled for tonight has been postponed due to field conditions due to rain. The game will now be played tomorrow at 6 p.m. And the number 3 Florida Gators welcome the Seminoles tonight and the second of 3 installments. Gators stole a comeback win in late March in Tallahassee 9-5. Ryan Slater on the mound for the Gators and Ben Barrett starting for the Noles. You can hear that game on 10:10 a.m. And Todd Golden adds more talent to the Gator squad. Former Iona guard Walter Clayton Jr. is transferring to Florida, choosing Florida over his former coach and Rick Pitino at St. John's. 67 degrees at 104. Time and temper brought to you by Bueller Air Condition. Stay cooler with Bueller.
This 1010XL 92.5 FM hour is powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-7473. That's 1-800-747-3733.
With the third pick in the 2014 NFL Draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars select Blake Bortles, quarterback, Central Florida.
Well, there you have it. Marquise Lee looking to throw it. As Bortles wide open, those tricky Jags. Touchdown, Jacksonville.
This is XL Primetime. Brought to you by Florida Home AC. Now that's cool on 1010XL.
Catalan on the call. Is that what that was, JJ? Was that Catalan? That's Andrew approved with the score. And your Jacksonville Jaguars going back to the decision they made with that number 3 pick overall, and you heard Rich Eisen react to it. Well, there you go. Blake Bortles, the boat officially came from Oviedo to Duval, and the pride of the UCF Knights. The son-in-law and his entire crew went out there to the desert to watch UCF in their first ever big bowl. And Blake Bortles, the argument going into that year was who should be the top quarterback taken. And there were 3 in the first round, 1 in the second round. You had Teddy Bridgewater, you had Johnny Manziel, you had Blake Bortles, you had Derek Carr. There was all sorts of decisions that were being made back then. So that is our backdrop. It is a Beaver Toyota, Beaver Chevy Tuesday. Look for great deals on both lots. You'll get great people, that's for sure. Service to back it up. My man Boydo and his service department, definitely number 1. So check out BeaverToyotaStAugustine.com and BeaverChevrolet.com. So let's set up the good to start, then we get to our bad and ugly. And basically what we're trying to do is we're doing our Duval Dirty Dozen from 12 down to 1 yesterday. Thank you, JJ. I appreciate that. Yesterday, we started out with our first in each of the categories, and there are going to be some dupes. There's no doubt about the fact that we are going to have some dupes on our list. But Leon, I see you studying over there.
Yeah.
I know you are ready to rock and
I'm
roll.
ready to rock and roll with
Let's
the good.
do
He
it,
said he was
man.
up late at night working.
I
on this.
was. Yes, absolutely. So the good at number 11 on my the good, the bad, and the ugly, I have Telvin Smith.
Wow.
Telvin Smith.
Interesting.
All right. 5th round pick, 5 years with the Jags, 9 interceptions, had a combination of 587 tackles. Every year he played with the Jaguars, he had at least 100 tackles. All right. 446 solo, and he had 52 tackles for loss. And 2017 Pro Bowl.
Yeah, he was.
You get that out of a 5th round pick. That's pretty decent.
Cat that year. All right,
So-
that's a good one. And I'm trying to couch this a certain way. I think he's going to appear on more than one list. That's just a total guess.
Yeah, he could be ugly.
Yeah,
that's
he's
for
just-
damn
just-
sure.
just a total
Not
guess.
bad.
All right, so that's the first of the good.
Leon's going with value, by the way.
All right.
Like we saw yesterday with Logan
Yes.
Cook. If you're drafted late but you had a good career, you're gonna make Leon's list. I can tell.
And I do love value because that's what makes your draft.
Absolutely.
That's what makes a good GM. And there haven't been enough of that. All right, Mia, jump.
All right. My number 11 good draft pick by the Jaguars. Argue amongst yourselves. 3-time Pro Bowler with your Big Cats, Marcus Stroud. 13th overall. Leon and I were having this discussion pre-show. Defensive tackles, for whatever the reason, if you take one in the top 10, it's looked at as meh, why wouldn't you take a pass rusher, meh. But for what it's worth, big baby out here. 12 tackles for loss, his second year in the league, 13 tackles for loss, his first Pro Bowl year. Then the sacks start coming, 6.5, 4.5. Obviously, they teetered off once he left Jacksonville. But hey, you got production out of the guy. And that's a lot more than you could say about a lot of the other defensive tackle picks taken in the first round by this franchise over the past 29 years.
All right, Maddie.
All right, so Leon
Hard
likes,
to argue.
Leon likes the guys under the
Productivity.
radar. I like dudes. My good, which would be number 11 overall good.
Yeah, number 11 in good.
First pick in the 96 draft, Kevin Hardy.
Mm-hmm.
134 games, 36 career sacks, was a beast. Had a little, 4 or 5 year run where he was just a beast on that defense. Great career here, too. Great career.
Yeah, look, I might have him a little bit higher. I'm a little surprised, but that's where you put him in the good category, and there's nothing wrong with that. All right, so I go to the good with my number 11th selection overall, the good, the bad, the ugly. We start with the good. The 67th pick in 2015 instantly became a starter and didn't stop being a starter. And even though we might have attacked him now and then, A.J. Can was a hard can to crush.
Yeah.
He was a hard can to crush. And even at times, David Caldwell would refer to him as A.J. Khan to try and endear himself a little more to Shad Khan. But no, out of South Carolina, the Gamecock, 67th coming into Duval. And look, there are very few, and this is the bad stretch that this football team went through, very few players that got second contracts because that's how bad the drafting was. Mr. A.J. Can in the 3rd round did get a second contract, was able to come back and started, I want to say 2 of the 3 years. Bottom line is he was a productive guy for quite some time.
He also got Foles hurt, by the way.
In this national football.
He got Foles hurt, but
which led to
the Gardner Minshew.
Yeah.
Era.
Well, yeah. And listen, great things come out of certain
There you
things.
go.
Okay,
We wouldn't have never saw the stash if it wasn't
God's plan.
Yes,
exactly.
absolutely God's plan.
And so in 2015, he started 13 games. Started all of them in 16, 15 of them in 17, 15 of them in 18, 16 in 19, and then 15 in 20. So you got to give it to him.
I
That's
never
mine.
would have expected A.J. Can.
Yeah.
From any of us, I never would have expected.
Yeah, and look, that's
Good
what.
value pick.
Yeah, great value pick. Absolutely.
And I think on this side of the table, we are looking for value.
Value,
Okay,
absolutely.
and it's like, my grandfather, we're looking for value.
Matt and I just want to see them hit.
Yeah,
That's the bigger thing.
Yeah. All right, so there you
Just
go.
get some production out of a draft pick.
That is the good, and I got a feeling that we're going to do a Duval Dirty Dozen every year, so we've got to make sure we mix mix it
True.
up as often as we can.
All right, here's where the shockwaves start. Right.
Okay,
here.
now hang on.
This is the bad.
You're going to go with
This
the
is your
bad?
bad.
Going to bad. This is the
This
bad.
is number 11.
This is number 11
Okay.
on the bad. Number 11 on the bad is yours truly, the boat, Blake Bortles at 11. All right? No people out there right now just cringing at the fact that I
A bad pick, Blake, at number 3
well,
overall.
I'm looking at him.
For what it's worth, not to cut you off, Leon.
Yeah.
He's also my number 11
Oh,
on my
nice.
bad list.
There
so.
you go.
So the boat combo.
The boat combo,
This is
okay.
a pontoon that
We're all
on.
hopping on the
And
boat.
listen, his record, 5-year record in Jacksonville, 24-49. All right?
Is that good?
That's terrible. All right? Touchdown, the interception ratio, 103 touchdowns, 75 interceptions. Now, he did have the one great run, or did he have the great one? Was that the defense to run the game? People are going to say, well, he took us to a championship game. Did he?
Two
Did he take us to
playoff wins,
Or did the
folks.
defense, much like Phil
so the
Simms.
defense in the running game takes the championship. But nonetheless, we were 4 minutes away from beating Tom Brady to go into the Super Bowl. So I pondered on this a little bit. I did, but I said, you know what? I'm going ahead and give it to him. Blake Bortles is my 11th. Bad.
You're much nicer than me.
More playoff wins than Trevor.
What,
Technically.
that's true?
As we
Facts.
speak.
Here's the
As we
crazy thing.
If both their careers ended right now.
Yeah.
Here's the crazy thing, though, is you look at the rest of that
That's so hacky.
that 2014 draft.
I don't know,
and
man.
The Jaguars needed a quarterback.
Yeah.
Dave Caldwell had just taken over
Yep.
as GM the year prior.
Yep.
They didn't select a quarterback in 2013, so they felt like they had to. And of the rest of the crop, I mean, certainly,
Well,
in
the thing-
hindsight, Teddy Bridgewater or Derek Carr would have made sense, but those two guys don't go until 32nd and 36th overall, respectively. And the other option is you take Johnny Manziel, and would you really want to have gambled with that?
Yeah, I think.
Jimmy Garoppolo also went 62nd overall,
Yeah,
by the way.
Yeah, and it's funny because he's not mentioned often enough when it comes to this, but the logic was you were looking at 3 guys that you worried about Bridgewater's overall health, you worried about Manziel's, does he translate
health.
in the college game, and then you had Blake, who was the biggest of the bunch and had some mobility. He was 6'5", and so we certainly looked at it and said, okay, not a total head scratcher, but when you look back and you say, okay, you could have gotten a combo of a pass rusher and a quarterback if you'd flipped the card in the first round and the second round. That was, Khalil Mack and Derek Carr, as opposed to what they decided to do.
And if they had waited to draft a quarterback until 2015, I mean, they drafted 3rd overall in 2015, so they were behind the two-headed
And then they
quarterback monster duo of Jameis Winston, number 1 overall, and Marcus Mariota, 2nd overall to the Titans. Neither of those guys, I mean, yes, they certainly had their moments in the National Football League, but I would put them with Blake in terms of disappointments and ended up being backups for the majority of their career.
Yeah. All right. Now let's get to another bad.
So this is my bad
Matt
at
Hayes.
number 11 is Mia's bad at number 12 yesterday. Dwayne Gratz. I feel like
Yeah, we're going to start doubling up here.
I feel like they literally just played him because he was a high pick, and they're just going to put him out there, and they really didn't have anybody else. He plays for 3 years, and then that's it. Never heard from him again
Well,
in the
just the
NFL.
fact that
basically.
just the fact that it was you're looking at third round draft picks. I look or top 3.
Got to
round.
play. If you're
Yeah.
a top 100 pick, you got to play.
Yeah, and I always I'll use our Killer Bees, our buddy Aaron Beasley, as a litmus test. Third rounder walks in, makes plays. That's what you for a third rounder. And let's use AJ Cann as another example. Third rounder, and we can go down the line. Luke Fortner, third rounder. You got to walk in. You got to make plays.
If you're a top 100 pick, you are basically said, look, we need you to play right now. Play.
Yeah. All right, so we doubled up with the boat 11 when it came
Yep.
to bad, and then mine is Mike Pearson, which was Maddie's yesterday. And the thing that I'll finish up quickly with Mike Pearson is that he was the first guy to be labeled Baby Baselli. He was the first guy that was expected to come in and be the next Baselli, and it just didn't work out. He was a good left tackle at the University of Florida, but not here. So, yeah, I would put him. And that was when they drafted high with big linemen defensively and offensively, and they didn't pay off. All right, so let's get to our uglies coming up here. Uglies coming up. I know what you're saying, right? If you're watching YouTube right now, you're going, y'all are ugly. Well, you can
No,
go
actually, the text line brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures that's watching on YouTube wants
Yeah.
to know if Matt has yogurt or ice cream.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, so he's watching to me.
So
He's
so
got
what
some
it
of
is
that.
is Joe initially started this little trend.
Refrigerated
maybe
oatmeal.
Joe should explain what
overnight
it is.
oats.
Well, he's got refrigerated oatmeal, but take a look at this, ladies and gentlemen. This is why you have to go to YouTube. If you can see this, this is a TLD manufactured strawberry, banana, spinach, yogurt, and mango.
There's
smoothie.
no way that
And it is
whatever that
nasty
wrap is on
looking.
top of it, there's no way that keeps it from spilling.
It does.
In
This
your
is-
car. In
this
your
is
car,
what-
it does?
This is the gift you gave me. Is you said, dude, you got to start putting some saran wrap on that.
So it works.
I have saved my blueberries and my spinach.
Nice.
Okay?
So it's just overnight oats is all it is. Overnight oats with some fruit and like a little
there you
scoop
go.
of yogurt.
We'll unveil all of our food as we go along. It's XL Primetime.
The First Coast Honda Dealer Studios on 1010XL. From the backyard to the ball yard. Let's have a ball. 1010XL. Jacksonville Sports Radio.
David Garrard here. Once again, Southeast Orthopedic Specialist has gotten me back to my active lifestyle by easing my knee pain with PRP treatment. PRP is a platelet-rich plasma concentrate that promotes tissue repair and healing and can even help alleviate pain caused from arthritis. Ask your doctor at Southeast Orthopedic Specialist if PRP may be right for you too.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Bet on the ball game. Get your money down. Money lines, totals, and parlays. We're cashing tickets all around.
It's baseball betting season, and VSiN's 2023 MLB betting guide is a home run for bettors. Download your free special edition of the guide, featuring a betting preview of the Atlanta Braves and Tampa Bay Rays at 1010XL.com. That's 1010XL.com.
Hey, Matt Hayes here. Temperatures are rising, and when you have an AC breakdown, you need it repaired today. Fenwick Home Services is the expert cooling team you can trust to repair your system the same day, or it's free. Free. Fenwick is Jacksonville's always-ready cooling and plumbing team. Available 24/7, even nights and weekends, with no emergency fees. Yep, no emergency fees. Plus, Fenwick will keep your system covered with Florida's leading repair warranties. Call or book online at Fenwick, ezbook.com. That's Fenwick, the letter E, the letter Z, book.com.
The Northeast Florida Safety Council has been keeping Florida safe for 80 years. I'm Megan Ehlers, Member Services Specialist. Whether your organization is large or small, we're a nonprofit that provides the services you need to take the worry out of compliance. Benefits of membership include thousands of online and instructor-led safety and health classes, learning management system access, safety walkthroughs, orientation program development, and consulting services. For more on becoming a member, visit nefsc.org.
What if you could be credit card debt-free in 10 days and save as much as $1,000 a month? Loan Pronto's all-new Express Equity Line of Credit program is just what you need. Hey, it's Prosser here. You don't have to do a full home refi. You can tap a small portion of the equity you have and enjoy a super low monthly payment. With Loan Pronto's Express Equity Credit Line, you can close in 7 to 10 days, and a $50,000 loan will only cost you around $400 a month. Use that money and pay off high-interest credit cards or do a home improvement project. You can access up to 90% of your home's equity, and 9 out of 10 homeowners won't even need an appraisal. So even if you did a total refi recently or just bought your home, you can tap the equity with this fast, easy program. Stop the madness. Say no to 24% interest fees. Call Loan Pronto today. 904-999-1508. That's 904-999-1508. Or as always, you can visit loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval.
This date in sports history is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On April 11, 1965, Jack Nicklaus wins his second of 6 Masters titles with a 17 under par, beating Gary Player and Arnold Palmer by a record 9 strokes.
Calling all Buffalo Bills, Annie Oakley's sharpshooters, and amateur marksmen. Join some fun folks for an afternoon of competitive clay shooting to benefit Operation New Uniform, providing transformative training and career services to empower veterans and military spouses to successfully transition from military service to a meaningful career. Friday, April 28th at Clay Target Sports on a state-of-the-art 15-station sporting clay course. Register at onvet.org.
This is Keith Catlin for Catlin Truck Accessories, and we are so blessed to be in business for over 100 years. Over 100 years of the best product and customer service means you can count on Catlin. From Roll-and Lock bed covers to Lear toppers to Cam Locker toolboxes, Catlin Truck Accessories has you covered when it comes to your truck or van. We do those too. Got a fleet of vehicles? We can outfit them all.
Who can you count on? Count on Catlin.
One name, one location, 100 years. You can count on Catlin.
Discover credit cards automatically double all the cash back you earn at the end of your first year, which means... Wait, hold up. Question for the audio engineer.
Go ahead.
Did I read that right? Discover automatically doubles all your cash back?
Yeah, that's what the script says.
So if I get a Discover card right now, I can earn twice the cash back.
Apparently. Wait! Unlimited first-year cash back match, only from Discover. See terms and learn more at discover.com/match.
Ray Magliozzi here for eBay Motors. Okay, easy now. You're teaching your kid how to parallel park. Ouch! Turns out he likes to do it by feel. Don't worry, eBay Motors has bumpers, trunk lids, license plate holders, and headlights. They've got lots of headlights. When you need parts, get it right the first time with eBay Guaranteed Fit. When you see the check, you know that part's gonna fit. eBay Motors, let's ride. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
It's that time of the year again for the taste of golf. So come join your boy at TPC Sawgrass on April 26th for fine cuisine from the top chefs in the area, craft cocktails, fun games, and unique auction items. This signature event is ideal for networking with a substantial and sophisticated audience who is passionate about the game of golf, the intrinsic values associated with it, and of course, impacting the youth of our community. Y'all know he love the kids. All proceeds benefit First Tee North Florida. So get your tickets at tasteofgolf.com. Come on, somebody.
This 1010XL 92.5 FM hour is powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
Throws toward the end zone. Oh my, what a touchdown by Williams. Has his helmet knocked off and still holds on to the ball. He has made two sensational grabs on this brief and productive drive by Jack Del Rio's Jag.
This is XL Primetime, brought to you by Florida Home AC. Now that's cool on 1010XL.
Brief and productive. Does that sum up the career of Reggie Williams, once drafted 9th overall by your Jacksonville Jaguars?
If I can add one to it, brief, productive, and mostly high, the career of Reggie Williams.
Is that not right?
Because he is he has legendary stories back in his time here. That's a good way to start the ugly. Because the ugly can come in all shapes, sizes, forms, and fashions. But Reggie Williams, that year that he scored a bunch of touchdowns, but he also set the record for the number of times the helmet came flying off. Do you remember? He just, I think he said, I'm going to keep my chin straps loose so I can get some face time.
I'll say this much. So he hauled in 10 touchdowns in his career-high 2007 year, in which he also caught 38 passes for 629 yards.
Yeah.
That was shortly after he was arrested in 2006 with possession of marijuana. He entered a pre-trial intervention program. Marijuana's fine. Completed successfully.
Now it's nothing. Now
we're getting to it. Then we get to 2009. Then he's arrested again, charged with DWI. Possession of marijuana.
Again, now it's nothing in the NFL. Keep going.
Then he's arrested on felony drug charges a couple months later, scuffling with Houston police at a local nightclub, and he got tasered, and he had some cocaine in his back pocket.
Yeah, and
again,
then,
still haven't said anything that couldn't work in today's NFL.
But honestly, that's a litany of trouble. And then cue the line.
And that was around the time that he spent the 2009 season out of football and then was signed by the Seattle
Because
Seahawks.
had I known that kind of stuff was frowned upon.
Yeah. Then I wouldn't have done it. But I was going to.
He was born in Germany.
I was going to cue the other line. I don't know,
do it
man.
different
He caught
over there.
10 touchdowns one year because that one was definitely an argument as to whether he was a success.
Well, he did catch 10 touchdowns.
What is funny, I'm going to take you guys behind the curtain. I accidentally wrote Reggie Nelson at first. And then I went, JJ, because I remembered it as soon as I got home last night. And I said, I meant to tell you I messed that one up. And Bo Valentine texted me and did remind me we probably could have made a case for Reggie Nelson as well. Because he had a rough 2008-2009, really good as a rookie. But then he played for 3 decades and was very good for Cincinnati.
Yeah,
So we could have made a case either way. But Reggie Williams and his Grand total of 5 seasons in the National
Just
Football League.
tell Bo
Brent
Valentine
put
that
them on there.
he might have written the postscript for one of my guys.
Oh, there we go.
Because, the way I wrote it out on my, let's start with the good, then to the bad, and then, oh, crap, here comes the ugly. And so this is the ugly. So we got one of them, Reggie Williams. Ugly.
Oh, well, yeah, mine's is a repeat. Mike Pearson.
Okay.
He's my ugly.
Yeah. And is it just because, you draft that high, you
draft
don't get
that high, you don't play enough, you don't start enough, and then the brief career.
Honestly, when I'm looking at ugly, I'm looking at a number of different things that easily could influence my decision. And look, you guys can crush us if you want. Go to social media at 1010XL. Any of our handles are on there. You can come at us with some of your thoughts as far as who you might have had with your Duval Dirty Dozen, the good, the bad, the ugly. You can definitely hit the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures at 641-1010. I went Quentin Groves. And Quentin Groves was another one of Gene Smith's draft picks that honestly they make you shake your head. Like, what were you thinking type of stuff. Now, this pairs up with another either bad or ugly that I will have later on, but I'll just at least set the table with he went back-to-back at the same positions, okay? He went back-to-back at the same positions. And so I just don't know what he was thinking, but that's what he did. But Quentin Groves, they traded up to get him in the second round, moved 6 spots to get him after moving up in the first round to climb into the top 10 to get the other guy who plays the same position. He was gone. Quentin Groves, gone draft week of 2010, 2 years later. Now, the sadness of Quentin Groves is that he's no longer with us.
Wow.
Yeah, and that in and of itself is sad. And
he was a great college player.
He was really good at Auburn. He was really, really good.
Such a tough rush end.
And he might have had something like 30 sacks in his last 2 years combined.
He was one of those rare. He was when football started to go to the lighter rush ends to the actual edge guys.
Yeah,
he was one of those guys.
Well, it's funny that we had this little mini argument yesterday about whether or not you'd go with a rush in that size. That was Quentin Groves. Honestly.
Oh yeah,
and he had a tough time. Now again, everybody that talked to you, and we had Quentin in studio, and we had his wife in studio, and his wife would.
Was this before or after the prostitution sting he was arrested in?
Yeah, this was before.
Okay.
Again,
because
JJ,
that's the ugly part.
Had I known that stuff was frowned upon.
Yeah. And I'm telling you, his wife would lean in and take the microphone from him.
Really?
Oh, she was a spokesperson.
Well, she apparently was a member of Auburn's track team.
Yeah, she
was an athlete
quick.
too.
Yeah, he was and strong and all that type of stuff. And gregarious.
They have 2 kids. I wonder, future athletes down the line.
I do like the fact that his 2 kids he put Quay in the beginning of their names, which was cool for Quentin, QUE, and then
Quaymani and Quayja.
Yeah, for the daughter and son, which was very cool. But rest in peace. And unfortunately, there's more than one guy that is on our list, I'm sure, that have left us, which is sad.
Yeah.
It really is. All right, you're ugly, Maddie.
I'm going to go with a 2010 third rounder, number 74 overall, DeAnthony Smith. Played all of 12 games with
I was
this
about
club.
to say, I'm not very familiar with this.
And that's
Played
ugly.
all of 12
and that
games.
in and of itself is ugly.
9 total tackles and traded.
And I swear there are some of these guys that it's like I've been trying to explain Cordell Taylor yesterday. Like I don't, and people are like I don't even remember him. Well, there's a reason, because he didn't play. And DeAnthony Smith would probably fall into that category. And I feel like we might have talked about him
3 seasons.
Yeah, we might have talked about him each preseason. Going, you know what?
3 seasons, 3 teams, 12 total games played. 8 for the Jags, 3 for the Seahawks, 2 for the Seahawks, 2 for the Bears. Total tackles. I'm going to give you the over/under for total tackles for one DeAnthony Smith in the NFL.
In the
NFL.
All right, I'm going to go
3 years. I'm going to put it at 21.
All right, I'm going to go under.
Mia?
Under.
He had to have more, though. I'm going to go over. You had to have more.
JJ?
3 seasons.
I agree with Leon.
You're both going over. You're both going under.
Under.
It's under.
Under.
15.
15?
15.
I was going to guess 17. Wow. Yeah.
15 career tackles and out of the league.
Yeah.
The number 74
Jeez,
overall
man.
pick. Imagine if they chose someone now with the 74th pick, which is at the top of the 3rd round, and he's out in 1 year.
Yeah. And I'm telling you, well, it's
that's
the
enough to get a guy.
Right. It's the same thing, unfortunately, with Quentin. He was drafted. They traded up to get him in the 2nd round, and 2 years later, draft week, he's being traded. And they moved him to Oakland, I'm pretty sure, and then he ended up going to Houston and whatnot. But it's like we said, if you can hit at a 50% rate in the draft, you might even be deemed a genius when it comes to the draft, because hitting these guys is not easy. And then Jacksonville just took it to it became an art form, a failing art form on how not, basically, as I read you guys yesterday from PFF.
Maybe worse than anyone else, actually.
There are other teams that rival it, but yeah, they were right there.
By the way, DeAnthony Smith is doing pretty damn well.
Is
he
he doing?
now goes by Dr. DeAnthony Smith. Earned credentials as an associate certified coach and certified mental performance consultant. He completed a doctorate of education in clinical mental health counseling and specialization in sports and performance psychology in 2020.
I like it. He probably learned a little bit about himself.
Absolutely.
Where's he living?
I don't have that
born in
information.
Berlin.
Yeah, he's West Berlin.
An Army brat?
Probably.
Which Reggie Williams.
It is better
I was just
than
going to say it's
Berlin
much
in
better
the
than
80s.
Reggie Williams was also out of Germany.
Yeah,
So
that's right. He was a
what's up with
military
this
brat.
European train on its way to Duval in the early 2000s?
Well, there's a ton.
Yeah, all the Army
Inexplicably,
brats, yeah.
our military still has people in Germany and bases, and because we're fighting the good fight still over there. And so, yeah, there's actually a lot of American soccer players who are born and raised in Germany. Obviously,
And
their
that's how
dad's
they
from
pick it up.
here.
Yeah, that's how they pick it up. The other thing with Reggie is that, honestly, the way it happened with Shaq as the general manager, he goes out and he drafts Byron Leftwich as his the 7th pick overall. We need to get into Carson Palmer, because he was the first quarterback taken, who now says Joe Burrow's better than Pat Mahomes. Think he might have taken a knock or two on the head. And so Carson Palmer was number 1 overall, and then Byron Leftwich was the second guy taken. And then they set out to give him weapons, and that's why they said, go get me a receiver. Reggie in the next draft, and then lo and behold, they went and got Matt Jones in the next draft. So they were reaching hard to get guys that he could throw the football to, and it just didn't work out.
We do appreciate all the feedback, not only on the text line brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures, but on Twitter as well, because JJ did put together a graphic.
Which was nice.
Again, we are counting down.
Yeah.
Don't worry. You are going to hear about Justin Blackmon.
Yeah.
Just give us a few days. But this is just a disclaimer from at Belford93. Wants us to make sure we clarify. Derek Harvey and Quentin Groves were drafted by Shaq Harris. Gene Smith didn't become GM until 2009.
I'm glad you said that. Because Gene Smith traded him. I'm very glad you said that, because Shaq made the move to move up with the other guy that will be mentioned. There's no doubt about it. I'm glad you said that, because it was 2008 that Quentin Groves was drafted. It was 2010 when Gene Smith moved him. So I'm glad you said that, because Shaq was the GM basically from 3 to 8. Does that sound right? 3 to 8, and then 9 or 10 is when Gene Smith took over. And then Gene Smith got that what do you call him? Lifeline Jag?
Oh, yeah, Lifeline Jag.
Wayne Weaver gave him the lifeline because he gave him that contract extension when he sold the team to Shad. And that's how Gene hung on for a couple more years, which is just something else. All right, Big Search, you are out.
Wait, we got to do his ugly. He didn't say his ugly yet.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
his
I
ugly
did.
draft. Oh, you said Mike Pearson.
Mike Pearson.
Yeah.
Mike Pearson.
So we had some dupes, which we're going to have some dupes.
Yeah, we're going to have some double.
Double ups.
It's going to be very interesting the next couple of days, because I have probably one of my teammates on the naughty list.
Uh-oh.
Does he still have your contact information?
Does he listen to XL Primetime?
Of course he does.
Of course he does. It was so funny because, listen, he deliberated in the green room as to who he was going to go with on this one. So, all right, enjoy the rest of the afternoon.
You got it.
Big Cersei is out the door. Leon Cersei Jr. won. I mentioned that Carson Palmer thing. It is worth bringing up. He said this guy's better than that guy, and that guy is Pat Mahomes. So you better be pretty dang special. So we'll touch on that coming up. It's XL Primetime.
Buckle up. You're in the First Coast Honda Dealer Studios with XL Primetime on 1010XL. Find your new Honda at your 8 local Honda dealers. Feel the thrill of live NASCAR play-by-play. He's got him! Oh, there we go! This Sunday at Martinsville. Brought to you by the Plumbers and Pipe Fitters Local Union 234. From Jacksonville's NASCAR station, 1010XL.
Let's fire up the flavor and ignite those appetites. Let's slow down and smell the barbecue. Because all your favorites are smoked for hours and ready for eating when you are. From our famous ribs to slow smoked pork. Enjoy some perfection by the plateful, safely in our dining room or in the comfort of your home. With curbside pickup, drive-through, and delivery. Sonny's Barbecue. Local pit masters since '68.
There's so much I love about spring. Warmer weather, flowers blooming, knowing summer is right around the corner. It's hard to choose a favorite. And that's a lot like the amazing used selection you will find at Arlington Toyota Pre-Owned. I'm talking 400 premium pre-owned on the lot. All makes, all models, imports, domestics, luxury, you name it, Arlington's got it. They even have Toyota certified pre-owned too. So to make your decision a little easier, you also get Arlington's 30-day exchange program with your pre-owned purchase. That's 30 days to love your purchase or exchange it for one that you do. With so many choices, it can be hard to decide. But don't worry, you're going to have a great experience at Arlington. Just check out their reviews. There's a 4.7 out of 5-star rating and over 16,000 Google reviews. So you know my friends at Arlington are going to give you their best. Arlington Toyota Pre-Owned. There's just so much to love, you better start shopping now. In person, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard and online at arlingtontoyota.com.
If your lawn is not as green as you'd like, it's time to go orange by calling Orange Environmental Services, Jacksonville's highest quality pest control for over 45 years. Frank Frangie here. I've trusted Orange Environmental to take care of our home's pest control needs for years. With the Orange Shield Protection Plan for your home or office, you can relax knowing Orange Environmental will handle pest control, termite control, and mosquito control. Orange Environmental has been giving Northeast Florida peace of mind from bug problems since 1972. Call them today at 272-3284.
At Andy's Automotive and Truck Services, they know that your company's fleet is more than just a bunch of cars and trucks. It's your livelihood, your reputation, your pride. So when you need routine fleet maintenance or emergency repairs, Andy's offers after-hours and mobile service to minimize your downtime and keep your fleet running like new. While you care for your employees and customers, rest assured Andy's Automotive will take care of your fleet. Visit the team at andysats.com.
Any adventure, any task, anytime. There's a CF Moto Utility ATV or UTV for any rider. See the full lineup at Ride Now Beach Boulevard. Venture seekers can start with the trail-tested capability and comfort of the C-Force lineup. For the ultimate in UTV performance, check out the Z-Force 950. Find your utility ATV at Ride Now Beach Boulevard or online at cfmotousa.com. ATVs are recommended for the use only by riders age 16 years and older. ATVs can be hazardous to operate. CF Moto recommends approved training course for safety and training information.
Are you buying a home with a septic system? Don't do it without getting the septic system inspected first. Call Duck Duck Rooter, Northeast Florida's only master septic contractor. Our team will conduct an in-depth inspection that includes a full report with pictures. DuckDuckRooter.com.
Who will the Big Cats pick at number 24? We'll break down all the scenarios each week on Mia's Mock Draft Mondays. Check out my picks on the 1010XL video channels every Monday morning or in written form at 1010XL.com. Mia's Mock Draft Mondays are brought to you by Dr. Mitchell Yaz with the Yaz Method for Pain-Free Movement.
I'm Niall Lawrence Stample, owner of NLS Cleaning and former Florida State National Champion. From soft washing to gutter cleaning, we're the exterior cleaning experts. Visit nlscleaning.net or call us at 904-708-8802.
It's that time of the year again for the taste of golf. So come join your boy at TPC Sawgrass on April 26th for fine cuisine from the top chefs in the area, craft cocktails, fun games, and unique auction items. This signature event is ideal for networking with a substantial and sophisticated audience who is passionate about the game of golf, the intrinsic values associated with it, and of course, impacting the youth of our community. Y'all know he love the kids. All proceeds benefit First Tee North Florida. So get your tickets at tasteofgolf.com. Come on, somebody.
Calling all poker players, brace yourselves for an epic month of poker at Best Bet Orange Park this April. In honor of our 15th anniversary, we're giving away $15,000 in high-end promotions on Saturday, April 15th. And that's not all. Our highly popular $400 no-limit Hold'em Greater Orange Park Open with a guaranteed prize pool of $40,000 is happening on April 22nd. Don't miss your chance to participate in these exciting events. For more information, visit bestbetjacks.com. That's bestbetjacks.com.
Are you an electrician looking for better pay and benefits? Miller Electric Company has the industry-leading compensation package. Electricians are eligible for a signing bonus up to $1,000. Now, they're partnering with the Jaguars on their new performance facility, the Miller Electric Center. Miller Electric has opportunities for you to work on some of the most exciting projects right here in Jacksonville. Whether you're experienced or not, visit MillerCareers.com, an equal opportunity employer. That's MillerCareers.com.
The First Coast has voted. Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute is proud to be chosen as Bold City's best in the orthopedic practice and physical therapy and rehab centers categories once again. For the last 29 years, JOI has continually strived for the highest level of orthopedic surgery and rehab care. As the needs of the community evolve, so will they. That's why coaches, parents, and athletes choose JOI. Call them at JOI 2000 or visit JOI.net. JOI, where the pros go.
This 1010XL 92.5 FM hour is powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733. This is XL Primetime, protected by Preferred Roofing on 1010XL.
18 minutes in front of the 2 o'clock hour, XL Primetime. We got Coach Campo coming in to break it down. That'll be coming up right now. Joe C., me O'Brien, Matty Hayes, JJ. You can check out us on YouTube on our 1010XL social channel. We'd love to see you. Say hello. Throw a comment our way.
Coach Campo may even be chilling on the video cam with JJ right now, and he didn't even realize it.
Yeah, he'll be in there. Listen, he now knows that he's on security cams everywhere, so he's got to make sure. Got to make sure that he's not doing something. Yeah, not doing something crazy. All right, Beaver Chevy, Beaver Toyota, they bring you today's show. We always want to say thanks to them. Brett and the boys right there on Phillips Highway, ready to take care of you. Just a great sales staff, great service department, all that stuff that you would expect. And then Nick and Boydo and all my boys down at Beaver Toyota in St. Augustine. Check them out. Of course, they want to wow you, so you can get a great deal on a Toyota or a Chevy or a pre-owned, whatever you're looking for. All right, now, I want to set this up because Carson Palmer, former number 1 overall pick, we brought him up just as we were talking about Byron Leftwich being the 7th pick in that 2003 draft with our good, bad, and ugly Duval Dozen. But he's also in the news because he basically said this guy's better than that guy, and that guy's Pat Mahomes. How many people are you willing to say are better than Pat Mahomes, he of 2 rings? Now, Carson Palmer is a Cincinnati Bengal. So you can expect that he's probably going to go on his side of the argument with his guy as opposed to the other side. But just play this sound, JJ, because, I listened to his logic, and I'm like, what are you talking about?
Joe's the best quarterback in the league, I know Patrick is phenomenal, but I just think Joe's more consistent. He's more consistent. He's more accountable to run the system and the play that's called. And not feel like, well, he didn't win last time and get open for me, so I'm going to do it with my feet. And then before you know it, you're socked for a 4-yard loss because you tried to make 2 or 3 guys miss. Joe is just, they're talk about not having a weakness. Mentally strong, physically tough, accurate, can throw it far enough, fast enough, gets the ball out quick, and then he can actually do a lot with his legs. He just rarely shows it. And it's not, I think he's as athletic outside the pocket with, and can do a lot of the same things Patrick Mahomes has done. He hasn't done it and showed it yet. He's played more within his system and style, but I think he's the best quarterback in the league.
Wow. Listen, I love conviction, belief, stick to your guns if that's the way you feel, but all the logic he laid out is not logic.
No,
it's not logical.
He literally was just talking to hear himself talk.
Yeah.
It wasn't even making sense.
And we're Burrow fans, by the way.
Yes, of course. You guys give me grief about being a Burrow fan. Look, I feel we're at the point now with Mahomes where he loses games. You don't beat him.
Mm-hmm.
He does something that, for whatever reason, he's not on his game. Yeah. It's like that. It's like you got that way with Brady, where you weren't going to beat him.
Mm-hmm.
If he wasn't on, then you had a chance to beat him.
And I like the Brady comparison because he was as hard to extinguish.
Yes.
As hard to put out.
Yes.
I still don't believe he's gone, by the way.
Yeah, exactly.
I still don't believe it.
Yeah. And so that, honestly.
That's I feel like that's where we are with Mahomes. Like, you're not going to beat him. You're gonna need him to blow a couple throws, throw a couple picks that he shouldn't throw.
Yeah.
And then you get lucky.
And
you're going to need luck to beat him.
Think about this. Both teams have rebuilt offensive lines. One seemingly has done it better than the other. Kansas City's now gone and thrown a bunch of money at Juwan Taylor, so we're going to find out whether that works or not.
By the way, gifted his old trainer from growing up. Did you see? Got him a nice, smooth ride.
Yeah? Oh, that's cool.
Big chunk of change.
I like
to see that.
But they've both had offensive line problems. That's
Sure.
what led to the Mahomes loss in the Super Bowl.
Yep.
They couldn't protect him, and he ends up losing that one. But he's 2-1 in Super Bowls. 0-1 is Burrow in Super Bowls, and both of them because Joe Burrow has as much talent to throw the football to or more than what Pat Mahomes had this past year. Pat Mahomes had to say goodbye to his number one target.
I mean, think about Pat Mahomes.
Had to say goodbye to his number one target.
Think about Pat Mahomes playing with the skill players that Joe Burrow's playing with right now.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
Oh, my God. Are you kidding
Higgins, Boyd,
Yes.
Chase, Azuma when he was
The
there.
two running backs, not
Yeah.
just one
Yeah.
running back.
I got two.
Mixon, honestly.
Here's the thing, though.
Where's that coming from?
I think it's
No
coming
idea.
from Palmer still living in
fan,
that Burrow head, because obviously the Bengals went into Arrowhead last year. They defeat the Chiefs against all odds. Then they beat them during the regular season earlier this year. But I think that it's safe to say after what Patrick Mahomes and company did, whether you believe in the pass interference call at the end of the Super Bowl or not, I mean, again, with less resources, what Patrick Mahomes was able to do this year says to me he is the more elite quarterback.
Yeah.
And while certainly in those earlier two meetings, Joe Burrow and the Bengals got the best of the Chiefs, there's also an argument to be made, how good are either of those defenses, and does that either elevate the play of the quarterback and B, give more opportunities in terms of possessions? Because both those defenses have been heavily criticized, but at the same time in 2022, Lou, I'm going to butcher his name, Lou Anarumo, the defense coordinator for the Bengals, was suddenly a star during that run to the Super Bowl. And that defense was playing out of its mind like its hair was on fire. And so that's where, do you say that was the reason Mahomes faltered? That was the reason Burrow had existed. Simply because that defense elevated him to a point where he could defeat and slay the dragon.
I just think you live on the idea that he's a great player, and you don't try and put him ahead of the current GOAT right now.
He is.
You just
Joe Burrow hasn't won a Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes has. Joe Burrow hasn't won an MVP.
You stay away from that. I'm sitting here thinking, hey, Duval, what do you think about it? Well, they're probably going to love on Trevor more than the other guy. If you put Trevor up against anybody, they're probably going to love on Trevor more. That's how you should feel. That's your guy. But few are going to say Trevor's better than Mahomes right now, okay? And yes, Burrow has made it to a Super Bowl. He's completed 70% of his passes a season ago, 68% of his passes this year, threw for nearly 4,500 yards, 35 touchdowns, a dozen interceptions. I mean, these are all great numbers. But he is still working with a lot of offensive football royalty around him and a pretty good offensive mind in Zach Taylor. And let it breathe. He's made it to the Super Bowl once. Don't give him one more hurdle he's got to get over by saying he's better than Pat Mahomes right now. Oof.
That's a guy who played for the Bengals.
Yeah.
What's he going to say, honestly?
Right. And then as soon as he said it, one of the hosts, I like where you're going with this.
Right.
Of course.
Well, that's his brother.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, of course, Jordan.
Oh,
Yeah.
Jordan was doing
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
he and Jordan?
It's just him and his brother, yeah.
I'm almost positive that Burrow works out with Jordan. I think he's a Jordan client. Jordan
Palmer.
Yeah.
He's a quarterback. He's a quarterback coach. I think he works out with him.
Exactly.
So, I mean, come on. Again,
It's a good bit.
Again, either
it's similar to Chris Sims saying with his edge rusher rankings.
Right.
Trying to stir up this controversy.
Either go into a game where he's missing both of his tackles, or he throws interceptions, or you're not beating him. You're just not. That's where you are right now with him. He's that good.
Yeah. By the way, if we are arguing about like winning record, losing record, Pat Mahomes was a great player in college, but that record definitely followed him a little bit about whether or not he could do whether he could be successful as an air raid guy in the professional game. He's obviously proved to everybody that not only was he good in college, he's great in the NFL game.
Kind of like Dean Smith. You only got to hold down Pat Mahomes.
Yeah. Was Cliff? Yeah.
Although not with the Dean Smith record.
Yeah. JJ, update the Twitter poll as far as the question, because the question started out was, how could you be average to below average in the college game and be seen as potentially a top 5 pick in the draft? And we bring it up because of Anthony Richardson.
Yeah, exactly. So Mel Kiper has AR going number 3 to the Titans. That's why we bring it up today. Question of the day, as always, brought to you by Beaver Toyota of St. Augustine. Can you remember a quarterback who struggled in college but became a good NFL quarterback? We have a lot of Josh Allens, some Brady's. Brady's situation was unique at Michigan. People forget the coach kept rotating the job, but Brady oftentimes came in and closed out games. Matt Castle was a college backup, became a respectable NFL quarterback.
That's a good one.
Phil Simms we talked about. Kurt Warner we talked about, and a lot of Tom Brady's and Josh Allen's.
Plus, Josh Allen was a much better college quarterback than Anthony
Yeah,
Richardson.
it just was. It was in the football wilderness out in Wyoming.
Right.
And it was in a non-Power 5 conference.
Yeah, and so people were talking about him coming into that year. That you can at least say they looked at him and said, football-wise, he's a physical freak. And I can remember Prisco and some of the guys. You keep an eye on this Josh Allen kid out in Wyoming. So they knew about him, and that is in a lot of ways what they're doing about saying about Anthony Richardson.
Believe it, this is nothing against Anthony Richardson. We were just in the pre-show meeting thinking, I can't think of a player who has done that little in college football, because whether you like him or you don't, and we like him, he probably was a 4.5 or a 5 out of 10 this year in Florida.
Yeah.
It is what it is, okay?
And
you can blame Napier, you can blame the system, whatever it is. That's what he was. All we're saying is we can't remember a guy who played at that type of level and became a top 3, top 5, maybe even number 1 overall player, and was successful in the league.
Yeah, the other guys, like, say, Phil Simms, he was drafted fairly high. Did you say top 10?
7th overall. That's probably the best comp.
Yeah, so a top 10 pick. They reached for him. They didn't reach for these other guys that we're talking about. Brad Johnson was brought up as well.
That was what drive was that? 71?
1979.
79.
And they had a losing
Completely
record.
Different game.
I'm looking at Coach Campo. He probably has a little something to say about Phil Simms back then.
He doesn't like Phil Simms.
But the Trey Lance thought is it a lower classification of football and a top 3 selection?
That's the most recent comparable, I guess, is what you can do. Because they kind of played
in love with the skill set.
But they also could blame with Trey Lance, blame the COVID season. And that's the reason we didn't see more of Trey Lance. And moreover, he came from a North Dakota State team that had won the national title the year before he became the starter.
He played 1 full season and 1 game at North Dakota State. Anthony Richardson played 1 full season and 1 full game at Florida.
Yeah.
Different levels, clearly different levels.
Sure.
But very similar skill sets, very similar type of what could this guy be.
And Lance benefited from the Wentz effect, at least the first half of Wentz's career, which was positive when Carson Wentz was going number 2 overall to the Philadelphia Eagles. So.
Some notes from our Nooners, both on the text line brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures, as well as our YouTube live stream. You could check out the 1010XL live cam by heading on over to our Twitter or YouTube pages. This one is from our boy, D. Frage from McClenny. We hear from him on the text line. Now he's on YouTube as well.
Love it.
He says, Denny Thompson is never coming back to your show after all this AR slander today.
Listen, we're
not slandering him. We're literally,
man.
it's just, no. And I think if he's picked 1 overall, it shows greatly on Denny.
Yeah, and he
it shows that Denny can develop quarterbacks.
Right.
What happens after that is not on Denny. That's on the NFL team that takes him after that.
Yeah,
Denny put him in position to be a top 5 pick. Denny has done everything he's been asked to do.
Right. If
he's
nothing
put him
else,
in position.
Yeah, if nothing else, it stars next to his name versus what.
Yes, no matter what happens in his NFL career, the pick is on Denny for his development.
Yeah,
yes.
And that part we love. And he knows that, look, we got to have an opinion. If we're sitting here, just kind of lining up to kiss his ring, he ain't going to like that either. So we've got to have an opinion. And there is nothing but mystery surrounding Anthony Richardson. I call him Young Frankenstein. Well, guess who the lab guy was? That was Denny.
Right.
Who's done
and
a great
moreover,
job.
now we hear from scouts, and we've had PFF guys on our show. Hackers had him on Hacker After Dark, and they all say there are a lot of coaches around the league that believe if a head coach and a GM can't get together and help build Anthony Richardson, then you have failed.
Yeah.
That is what I have heard the notion around the league is. So it'll be curious to see if it actually comes to fruition.
I also like D. Frage from McClenny when he says tombstone. Classic when it comes to the Westerns.
We also have one more. I do want to give a shout out to our boy, Bush Drive Rich, who caught Coach Campo's brief cameo on JJ's cam, on the live cam. He says, tell Coach, now that he is on camera, there should be 0 Dallas gear on at 1010XL. He's wearing red today, folks.
He
We're
is.
gonna be
Listen, he bleeds teal now.
That's
Okay,
a Cardinal red he's got on now.
He bleeds some teal. All right, so we will say hello to Coach, get his thoughts on all this that we have brought up today. It is coming up. Beaver Chevy, Beaver Toyota, a beautiful Tuesday. We hope. Get this rain the heck out of here.
Cruising with XL Primetime in the First Coast Honda Dealer Studios on 1010XL.
Anytime Fitness Sawgrass is the preferred gym of yours truly, Mia O'Brien. Strengthen everything from calves to confidence.
Me, Frank
Frangie.
I just think about baseball.
With Hayes Carline and Lauren Brooks.
How about that?
They are the Frangie Show.
You may not look like a winning team, but you are one.
afternoons on 1010XL.
Rick Ballou for Carlson Dental. You know, I've been telling you this for quite some time because it's true. I hate going to the dentist, or at least I used to hate going to the dentist. I had total anxiety, and then I tried sedation, light sedation for cleaning and deep sedation as well for cavities and root canals. Folks, it's an incredible experience. So don't be nervous, don't be scared. Go to carlsondentalgroup.com. That's carlsondentalgroup.com for all of your dental needs.
Hey, I'm Tony from Tony D's Pizza. People ask me all day long, is it the water that makes the difference? Well, yes and no. Even water can't make a good pizza. It's the ingredients, too. The best tomatoes, the best flour, and the best cheese. Oh, and a lot of love. Tony D's New York Pizza, Bay Meadows and 295.
Hey folks, Mike Dempsey here. You've heard me talking about Pella Windows and Doors, and with great ratings and expert reviews, you know they're high quality and energy efficient products. So what's your next step? How about scheduling a free consultation or just stop by the Pella showroom right there on Phillips Highway next to Tesla? Pella's professional consultants will guide you through your entire project from start to finish. From simple projects to complex renovations, their team has the experience needed to make your project a success. And that's the quality and service you can expect from Pella Windows and Doors.
Home of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
People often ask me, Lee, do I have to take the roadside sobriety tests? The answer is no. Hi, I'm attorney Lee Lockett. Auditioning for your freedom on the side of the road can be nerve-wracking. And although your refusal might be used in court, in many cases, it's better to think twice and talk with an attorney first. I have 25 years of experience defending those accused of DUIs and criminal charges all over Northeast Florida. I'm from here, I live here, and I'm here to help you if you need me. I love fighting for your rights. Know Before You Blow. Go to knowbeforeyoublow.com now. Offices Jacksonville.
Do you want or need to sell your home and you're just worried about the potential problems that are out there? Let me make you feel better. Go to chadandsandy.com. You see, Chad and Sandy, the real estate experts who guarantee your home sold at an agreed-upon price and deadline, or they will buy it. What does this mean for you? It means you can and will have a smooth home selling process. Take Ken and Monica in Cunningham Creek out in St. Johns County, who say, we were ready to retire and move to the mountains. I heard about Chad and Sandy on the radio, and what they say is true. We hired them, got multiple offers in 16 days, and sold above asking price. We can retire in style thanks to Chad and Sandy. Those are the success stories that are out there. Don't miss out. Call the agents I trust and recommend to sell my home. Chad and Sandy guarantee to sell your home or they will buy it. Call Chad and Sandy today at 904-414-6200 or go to chadandsandy.com. That's Chad, A-N-D, Sandy.com. Call today.
Men suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE, regardless of age or past medical history, you'll see instant results on your first visit at Prime Men's Medical Center. And for unlimited time, your consultation and first treatment are totally free. Call now 904-664-8217.
Do you have a VA loan? In this housing market, homeowners with VA loans have access to a ton of instant cash. Hey, it's Prosser here. Do you need cash to pay off credit cards and other high-interest loans? Does a check for 80 or 90 grand sound about right now? Well, Loan Pronto is helping veterans every day get the money they need with a quick and easy zero-cost cash-out refi with zero closing costs. With a VA loan, it's really cool because you can access up to 100% of your home's value. Use that money to pay off credit cards, home equity lines, car loans, consolidate all your payments into one check per month, and close in 2 weeks. Most homeowners who do this end up cutting their overall monthly payments by $800. Loan Pronto's all-digital process makes it fast and easy. They're doing loans with super low APRs, and they love working with veterans. Call now to see what your options are. Call Loan Pronto at 999-1508. That's 904-999-1508. Or go to loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval.
Need cash? Beaches Jewelry and Pawn has cash available. Ready to buy guitars, surfboards, jewelry, firearms, tools, and especially gold. They need it all. Selling or pawning, get cash on the spot at Beaches Jewelry and Pawn in Jacksonville Beach.
Sports injuries are a common issue for both adults and children. Dr. George Barry here, and as a specialist in orthopedic care, the team at Barry Orthopedics and Sports Medicine here in Jacksonville provides comprehensive diagnosis and treatment of all types of sports injuries. With additional training in sports medicine and more than 30 years of experience, the team is available to care for your entire family and help you have fun and stay active. Visit us today at barryorthopedics.com.
And don't forget to check out Breaking Bones Sunday morning, 7:30 on 1010XL.
Hey, I'm Liz Gruby, the events director of the Jacksonville Business Journal, and I'm here to invite you to join us for our annual 40 Under 40 celebration. It's a great chance to network and celebrate an excellent group of young leaders from all different industries. For tickets and details, visit jbjevents.com. And I hope to see you at our 40 Under 40 Awards Luncheon on April 20th at the Hyatt Regency Riverfront. jbjevents.com.
This is your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist Local Sports Update brought to you by Woody's Barbecue. I'm Taylor Dahl for 1010XL. Today's JU baseball versus Georgia Southern game, originally scheduled for tonight, has been postponed due to field conditions due to rain. The game will now be played tomorrow at 6 p.m. And the number 3 Florida Gators welcome the Seminoles tonight in the second of 3 installments in the Sunshine Showdown. Gators stole a comeback win in late March in Tallahassee, 9-5. Ryan Slater on the mound for the Gators and Ben Barrett starting for the Noles. You can hear that game on 1010 a.m. And Todd Golden adds more talent to the Gator squad. Former Iona guard Walter Clayton Jr. is transferring to Florida, choosing Florida over his former coach and Rick Pitino at St. John's. It's 67 degrees at 2 o'clock. Time and Temper brought to you by Bueller Air Condition. Stay cooler with Bueller.
This 1010XL 92.5 FM hour is powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733. Let's welcome in XL Primetime's coach, Dave Campo.
Coach Campo in the house, ready to be a star on our YouTube channel. Coach, you see your camera?
Well,
over there.
yeah.
Just wave at it.
Well, of course, with the podcast, I'm kind of used to it now.
Yeah.
So
that is
I
true.
kind of like the camera, actually.
Yeah, and you did plenty in front of the TV in Dallas.
Well, that's
back in
true.
the day.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Our head coach, formerly the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys, longtime assistant in the National Football League, the college game, including right here in Jacksonville. When some of these good, bad, and uglies that we've nominated, you were coaching them back then.
That's true. Yeah.
The goods as opposed to the bads and the uglies.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I had a few good ones. Yeah.
You better believe
sure.
it. Yeah.
But listen, can I answer a question you're probably going to ask me anyway?
Yeah.
You know, we've been talking about Anthony
like
Richardson,
my wife right
all the stuff going on,
Yeah.
and you know, talked about the fact that have you seen quarterback that did not do well in college and come into the pros and do well? You know, there have been 60 quarterbacks drafted in the first round since 2000. 29 have had winning records in the league. Very few of them are Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes, whatever. But those are the good.
Right.
There are 28 that did not have winning records that everybody thought, rather than, you know, just naming names, there's a ton of them, 28 of them. And there's probably 4 or 5 that are still up for grabs. The young guys have just come in, okay? So that's why a team will take a chance on a guy like Anthony, because it's a crapshoot. It's 50-50 on whether or not a guy in the first round is going to make it or not. So why not take a chance? If you miss on it, 29 other teams missed on first-round picks.
Are you including?
So if you hit it, it could be Aaron Rodgers. It could be, you know, whoever. And
But it also could be Aaron Rodgers with some other quarterback you take too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. If you want to wait till the second or third round, but when you really look at it, how many of the second and third rounders really make
less
it?
Than that.
It's a tough position. That you say it all the time, Matt. It's because it's a different position.
Yeah, it's unlike any other.
Than the other positions when you're looking at what they do and what they've done.
I am wondering, of those 60 quarterbacks, where does Eli Manning and his 500% on the dot winning percentage fall? Is he on the success or the not success?
A ton of interceptions.
Well, I called him one of the goods
Yeah.
because he obviously they won 2 Super Bowls
Right.
with him. So, you know, are you getting your value? Absolutely. Now, you know, some of that, you know, whether it's you're below 500 or whatever, is based on the team itself. You know.
Let me do the 10-10 take, because this ties in these numbers, because it really – some of these numbers, when Coach mentions the quarterbacks, just how lucky you have to be to get it right.
Now, Joe C's 10-10 tape. Slow smoked and served up by Sonny's Barbecue. Local pitmaster since '68.
You're going to feel lucky when they walk that plate of St. Louis ribs in and put it right down in front of you. All you can eat ribs. Take advantage of it. Sonny's Barbecue all over the First Coast. And you want to get a pile of ribs that have been smoked slow, and then you can just tear into them. Get as much as you want. All you can eat special right now at Sonny's when it comes to those delicious ribs. So if you get it right, you're not constantly searching for the quarterback. These numbers blow my mind. One franchise, you ready for this? One franchise has had three quarterbacks starting for them for 43 of the last 63 seasons. 43 of the last 63 seasons, just 3 guys started. Their names, Bart Starr, Brett Favre, and Aaron Rodgers. And if that doesn't just make you just go, oh my gosh, if you can get one of those guys, they can take care of your franchise for a long, long time. How many others have been drafted between, say, a Bart Starr and an Aaron Rodgers who's still turning back the clock? He may be playing for New York soon, but he's part of that trio of talent that has stayed in one city 3.5 dozen years out of 63 possible seasons. Just incredible. That is the 10-10 take, and it speaks to exactly what you're saying.
Well, and I coached against 2 of them, and you don't want to deal with either one of them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Brett Favre and Rodgers.
Yeah.
You know, and they've been very fortunate. But, you know, the other thing about the quarterback position, I said this the other day, one of my concerns about Anthony Richardson is not so much what he did in college, because there's a lot of factors involved with it. You know, people they have with them, coaches, you know, you talk all the time about everybody thinks they can fix the guy in the NFL. One of the things that concerns me is Denny Thompson, because I think Denny Thompson is an outstanding quarterback technician. And this kid, when you listen to some of the scouts, they say his problem is his technical aspect of the game. In other words, his fundamentals. Well, if he can't learn them from Denny Thompson, what makes you think he's going to learn them from somebody in the National Football League? And that's the concern to me. It's not a knock on Denny Thompson. It's a knock on Anthony Richardson in my mind.
No, I mean, no. At the end of the day, it's going to be on him.
Oh, yeah.
It's not going to be on anybody else.
Right.
Whether he wins or fails, it's going to be on him.
Absolutely.
And that's, I mean, I was saying this earlier. People were texting in the text line complaining that, you know, Denny's not going to come on your show anymore. He's going to be mad.
Right.
Denny got him to where he needs to be.
Correct.
Right? Denny got him to the spot of, okay, now these teams want to pay you millions upon millions of dollars to be your quarterback.
Right.
Go do it.
That's it. It's up to him now, for sure.
When we talk about the decision that has to be made, just staying on AR, and sometimes at some point we do have to apologize for using him as that, you know,
Right.
It's not fodder. It's just he's the guy that we can't figure out. We know what
Right.
Bryce Young has done. We know what C.J. Stroud has done, and there's a big question mark. But what are the overriding factors for a general manager or a head coach to make this decision? Is it just as simple as potential?
It's the same reason they took Trayvon Walker here. If the upside of him, if you hit it, and as I said, if you miss it, so a bunch of other people. You move on and go to the next one.
Right.
But there's so much of an upside with him, with all of the physical factors that he has. You're certainly going to stick with that. You're going to take a chance on a guy like that. Now, whether or not you take him with the first pick in the draft or the second pick in the draft, I don't know about that. I mean, that really puts more pressure on the guys. A lot of those number 1 picks were 12th, 13th, 14th, 7th, 8th. That's a little different, and we said it a lot. You know, I don't see much of a difference. If you take him, he either plays for you or you don't, whether he's the 7th pick or the 1st. But when most people look at that and say, man, you take that guy with the first pick of the draft, he better be a wonder.
Yeah, all
So
of that.
let me
But
ask
you don't
you.
think that. I'm sorry, man. You don't think that.
No, it was like with Walker, whether we took him 4th or 1st, it's whether or not he plays
Still
good
took
enough
him,
or he doesn't play good enough. That's the bottom line to me.
Let me ask you this then, because I'm looking over right now. This is the most note cards we've had from Coach in a while. He's ready to talk draft.
That's because I'm not very smart. I don't have it up here.
You're a prophet. Come on now. You got it all up here.
A lot of notes, though. I do love
There is a chance, Coach Campo, for the first time in modern NFL history, we could see a draft that goes quarterback 1 through 4. Do you right now foresee that happening?
I think it's a very good possibility. I think that, Arizona needs more, in my opinion, than Willie. Was it Will Anderson?
Will Anderson. Yep.
He needs. They need more than Will Anderson.
Right.
So I could see them trading the third pick to somebody coming up to get the quarterback. And that's, whether or not it happens, I don't know. But I think number 1, number 2, and number 4 are going to take quarterbacks if it stays the way it is right now.
So you don't believe the smoke of the Texans aren't actually interested in a quarterback if it's not Bryce Young?
Yeah,
You think that they have to go quarterback?
Yeah, they can't go with the guy that they're going with now on a long term. They've got to take a.
For the
they've got to
and
take
D'Amico's quote, "The right guy for our team is all that matters," and so
Right.
they got to hope they get the right guy because they're picking
absolutely
second. So they're going to find out if they do or not. All right, we'll keep going on the Jaguars draft decisions that they've got to make with Coach coming up.
I do want to also hit at that real quick, but continue.
No.
Let's hit to that.
That is right there in the middle of it.
Let's do it.
Happened. Brought to you by Florida Home AC, the official air conditioning partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
It has now been confirmed by ESPN that Bucs inside linebacker Devin White has requested a trade. The team doesn't want to trade him. He wants to be traded. He is coming up on his 5th-year option.
Yeah, they're.
Would you do it if you're the Jaguars?
It's not a bad question. They have not fixed a lot of things in their. I was going to say front seven, but their entire defense. They haven't fixed everything. There are still lots and lots of questions. So he certainly could be one of the guys that they might be thinking about. But again, anytime we entertain these things, money.
Yes.
It's going to take a lot.
Yes. Plus, I'm not giving up on Devin Lloyd, man. I'm just not. I think he's going to be a good player.
I'm not either.
Yeah. So we'll stay on that subject. Coach Campo in the 2 o'clock hour joining us. Beaver Chevy, Beaver Toyota. They bring you today's show, XL Primetime. Hanging out.
You're riding in the First Coast Honda Dealer Studios. XL Primetime on 1010XL. Get a Gator baseball chomp on 1010XL.
It's the battle of state powerhouses. Florida State. Tonight at 6 on 1010 AM.
I'm Ellie Anajar of Anajar & Levine. Injured in a car crash? Never rush to settle with insurance companies, and never settle for just any attorney. Demand Anajar & Levine. Our experienced legal team will fight to win you the maximum compensation you deserve. Call me, Ellie Anajar, for a free consultation and take back control of your life. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
Main office, Jacksonville.
Hey, it's Matt Hayes, and I had Achilles tendonitis for months. That is, until I said yes to Yas. Dr. Mitchell Yas and the Yas method. Look, we're talking about pain elimination. Not pain make you feel better for a couple days. Elimination. You probably tried medication, treatments, injections, even surgery. Look, maybe the reason you're still in pain is because they're treating the wrong thing and not thinking holistically and fixing the root causes. I found the best kept secret in pain elimination. That's Dr. Mitchell Yas and the Yas method. 904-906-YASS. That's 904-906-YASS. Mitchell Yas, the best kept secret in pain elimination.
Cataracts can take a toll on the quality of a loved one's life. Maybe it's even your parents or someone close to you. Hey, Hicken here. I've been talking to you about Bowden Eye. And it turns out renowned cataract care is right here at Bowden Eye & Associates. Their doctors help those with cataracts feel hopeful, sometimes for the first time in a long time. If someone you love is suffering from cataracts, schedule a visit for a personal consultation. 3 locations to serve you, including the new office on County Road 210 in St. Johns County.
At Kubota, they want to help you deliver a job done right. That's why they want you to know that the new Kubota inventory is arriving daily. You've got work to do. They've got the reliable, durable, and versatile lineup to help you do it. Visit Coastal Equipment today for all your equipment needs.
Greater power for the great outdoors. Coastal Equipment.
Coastal Equipment on New Kings Road and in McClenny.
At the Dailies Dash, they're kicking pimento and taking names. Come in and try the April sandwich of the month, the Kickin' Pimento BTT. More Dash deliciousness filled with pimento cheese, bacon, tomatoes, and turkey. Are we hungry yet? quality ingredients, friendly service, the Dailies Dash experience is going to be a pimento-kicking eye-opener for you. From locally sourced coffee ground fresh every morning to the mouth-watering sandwich menu, stop at the Dailies Dash today and try the Kickin' Pimento BTT, the Dailies Dash sandwich of the month.
He's the quarterback whisperer.
You can do this?
Denny Thompson joins the drill Friday mornings in the 8 o'clock hour to talk QB.
This man right here does whatever it takes.
Brought to you by Tyson Sound and Security and automation experts on 1010XL.
This is Hayes Carlion for Spickelmeyer Insurance Agency. I was paying too much for car insurance, paying for things I didn't need. My friend John Spickelmeyer fixed all that for me with impeccable customer service. For all your car insurance needs, call John at 471-7155.
It's tune-up time, and Florida Home AC, the official AC partner of the Jaguars, wants to partner with you for a cool summer season. Tune up your AC unit right now so it's running at peak performance when you need it most. Just call 777-4300 and order a tune-up for just $59. Keep your unit humming at optimal level. Log on to FloridaHomeAC.com and take advantage of their savings. Keep cool with Florida Home AC. That's 777-4300.
QC Kinetics patient Diane Richardson saw her brother-in-law have surgery for pain in his elbow.
My brother-in-law, after that surgery, had his arm in a sling for almost 6 months, extensive PT, pain medication, a lot of restrictions of what he could not do.
So when Diane's husband, Greg, had a similar problem, she encouraged a different treatment, regenerative medicine at QC Kinetics. And the experience was like night and day compared to his brother.
After 6 months, nothing. He hasn't felt any pain, and that has been 2 years since he's had treatment.
Plus, no drugs and no downtime.
He was literally out golfing when he wanted to and doing whatever he wanted to. It was probably 9 months before my brother-in-law got back out on the golf course, and my husband was on the golf course the entire time. And he was so elated. He said, Diane, game changer.
Before you have surgery for that joint pain, get a second opinion. Call QC Kinetics for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 904-274-5522. That's 904-274-5522. 904-274-5522.
Find your why in your next career move at the First Coast YMCA. Everyone can get involved and make a difference in your community at the Y. And if you'd like to turn your passion into a fulfilling career, the Y is an equal opportunity employer and is now hiring youth program leaders, lifeguards, swim instructors, and more. Plus, Y staff enjoy benefits including free YMCA membership and free childcare while you work. Find your passion, find your why in a career at fcymca.org.
This 1010XL 92.5 FM hour is powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733. This is XL Primetime, protected by Preferred Roofing on 1010XL.
Coach Campo, wow. I'm still struggling with some of the pronunciations post-tonsillectomy, so I apologize to those out there who have noted my New Jersey accent, Coach Campo, was more pronounced. I did go for my annual physical yesterday, and the doctor noted, that happens. So bear with us, folks. But, hey, we're rocking, we're rolling. Tuesday, XL Primetime, Coach Campo in the house. 2 more segments with our head coach. You just showed me that note card there with the good, the bad, and the ugly of first-round quarterbacks, Coach Campo. What other note cards we got on the scouting report here today?
Draft board.
His draft board.
Well,
Okay.
no, I don't have a draft board, but I have the guys that are available and where we might move to. That's what I've got.
Let's hit it.
Who's your best rush edge on there?
The best
edge
rush,
guy.
the best edge guy.
Yeah.
Anderson.
Mm-hmm. Well, after Anderson, because we know you're not getting him.
Well, I'm saying that Nolan
Who's available for them, you think?
Well, I think Murphy is a guy has a good chance of being there, and he might be the guy because he's big enough and he's very good athletically.
That was Hayes Carline when he jumped on Jaguars earlier today. He's zeroing in on him as well. I'm trying to pull this up and take a look at it, but you have to find that guy, and your mind may be changed day to day, made up next week permanently, whatever. But how important is that edge rusher in your mind right now for this football team?
I'm kind of leaning towards getting a big.
Mm-hmm.
If you can get a big, one way or another.
Exactly.
I've been a corner guy right along, and I think corner would really help them. And if they took a corner, I would look at him just like the offensive lineman whether he's a starter or he's the third guy, which makes him a starter with the nickel, that would be fine. But, you know, you can't find the bigs. You can't find the offensive linemen, so I'm kind of leaning that way a little bit. The offensive tackle, if there's one there. And then I'm looking at the edge rusher because I think with Josh Allen being in a fifth-year deal, right? And then you've got, Trayvon Walker, which, has a chance to maybe move around or do some things. I think that position could be vital going forward.
So you said Murphy. I don't. He's been up and down a little bit.
Yeah.
But when he's on, he's really good.
Yes.
He's a true even front end.
Right.
He is not
He's not an outside linebacker.
Not an outside linebacker. I don't even know, honestly, if he's a 5 in an odd front.
Yeah.
He's a true 4-3 defensive end.
That's correct.
So if you pick him, you are moving Walker inside, right?
Yep. You're moving in and you're making that outside guy to the weak side, a guy with his hand on the ground.
And
That's it.
Let me just interject. You're taking number 24 and changing the position of number 1. It really is unreal.
But here, let's continue the conversation I had with Leon during our pre-show meeting, Coach Campo, where Leon was also in disbelief at the thought of you drafted Trayvon Walker as a edge outside linebacker pass rusher, and now you're moving him inside.
Right.
And I said to Leon, that's because they always knew they would eventually move him some inside, but drafting a defensive tackle number 1 isn't sexy in 2023. It's if anything, it's not just it's not sexy, it's taboo. You don't do that. You have to draft a sack getter. And so I mean, that's why it's not out of the realm of possibility for me that they say they're multiple front. They get a Miles Murphy, who there's a lot of scouts who also believe you could kind of play him like a chess piece. I don't really know if I agree with that assessment, so I'm curious your take. But then in turn, you move Trayvon Walker inside, and that is where perhaps he could even, I don't know, maybe get a few more sacks.
Yeah, well, there's no question in my mind that Trayvon is. When they talked about Trayvon, when they were talking about him, it was that he was so versatile. That's what they said all the time. So they tried him as a stand-up outside linebacker. I'm just not sure that that's his best position. His best position might be inside. I don't care. I don't care if he's a first pick or the 50th pick.
Now you got to
If his best position is over here, put him there, and let's play ball.
But, I mean, to be fair.
I don't care.
I know you don't. but I know, and I get that. But to be fair, that also says you blew the pick.
Well, in a way you did, because you really thought he could be what you picked
rush
him on.
edge guy, right.
Right, and he still may be. And that may be, they may take a corner with the first pick. They may take the offensive lineman with the first pick.
Do you know what I mean by that? Like that
yes,
clearly
no,
says
you're right.
You blew the pick.
You're right.
But, and combine all the things we're saying, because you're taking a 24th best prospect, and you're saying that's going to supplant my number 1 best prospect. Same thing you're saying.
Even if he goes inside and has a good career, you still blew the pick.
Right. And I would like to know if Mike Caldwell could turn him into something better, and at the very least, salvage the number 1 overall pick.
And see, I look the same thing when you look at Devin Lloyd and Muma. They did not hesitate when he was struggling to put him on the bench and put Muma, who they took with the 3rd round pick. They're not worrying about that. They're worrying about what's the best position to get the guys in. And if I was a coach, I'd be doing the same thing. Now, the general manager, that's a different story, because he's the guy that's in the spotlight as far as taking that pick.
Right.
So you have to have them, if they have the right chemistry over there,
right,
they're going to put him in the best position that they can put him in and give him a chance to do it.
If let's just say hypothetically they take Murphy, okay?
Right.
They move to an even front.
Right.
Walker goes inside. Then you've got Muma as your Mike, you've got Lil Khan as your Will, and you've got Lloyd as your Sam, right?
Correct.
That's your defense.
Yep. And really, to be honest with you, you're talking about a base 4-3. Right. I'm talking about staying with Josh Allen as a stand-up outside linebacker.
Right.
And going with a even it's
Murphy's hand in the ground.
Yeah, exactly.
Allen's the guy on the outside.
That's correct. Right. Instead of having, they get into the front, I'm talking about the under front.
Right.
With both outside linebackers standing up. But when we had Charles Haley, he was the weak side outside linebacker, but with his hand on the ground. That's what they could do very easily.
Plus, both those guys can run.
Yeah.
I mean,
exactly.
Lloyd and Lil Khan can run.
Absolutely.
You know, the funny thing, I'm watching the Miles Murphy tape right now, and he's got great bend and everything like that. He's done it 100 more times than Trayvon did just in this highlight alone. And that's the other thing,
Exactly.
experience at the position.
3-year starter.
Yeah.
May or may not make an appearance in Mia's Mock Draft Monday next week. But the other option, Coach Campo, if they are to go corner in the first round, like you've been pretty much reiterating week in and week out, is they're going to have to go out and sign a pass rusher in free agency then, or draft one in the second or third round, simply because if you're going to lose Arden Key and if you're going to lose DeJuan Smoot, I mean, you can say Jordan Smith's going to come back and maybe contribute off of missing the whole year off injury, but I really don't see that happening. So here are some names that our good friend John Shipley over at Sports Illustrated threw out there this morning of potential veteran guys they could sign. So I wanted your take, Coach Campo, if you would sign any of these guys. Justin Houston, Marcus Golden, Leonard Floyd, Frank Clark, or bring back DeJuan Smoot.
Well, first of all, if Smoot's 100%, you already have him, really. I mean, then people are not going to take much of a chance on a guy that's coming off of an Achilles tendon, especially a big guy. That's a tough injury. Now, of all those other guys, I'd take any one of those other guys.
Would you take them over drafting a pass rusher high?
Definitely, if there wasn't one there to draft with that pick.
At 24.
At 24.
So you're not saying, you're not going to take somebody at 56 in the second round and then say we don't need a veteran.
Correct. That's how I look at it. And I would take any of those guys. And I've heard some people throw out Ngakoue. I would take Ngakoue. If he and Shad or Tony Khan could get back in shape.
They'd have to kiss and make up.
Yeah, and because he's very capable of filling that role as well.
Our boy 4853 on the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures, also known as the bulky pop-off line, is wondering, Coach, what defense does this roster, currently constructed as it is, have the best personnel to run?
I think 4-3.
Which is also, again, a shame. If you're drafting guys that you think are going to be these across the line for linebackers that make plays, it's a hell of a thing that you got to shift if you have to do that. All right, we'll keep that going because Coach has been steadfast on that. Don't forget Campo and Joe. A little bit later on, we'll go Facebook Live, and then we'll have our podcast for your consumption. We appreciate everybody tuning in and checking us out.
The First Coast Honda Dealer Studios on 1010XL. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, bring the best sports and entertainment talk to Jacksonville. Good luck, 1010XL. This message will self-destruct in 5 seconds.
Honda has done it again with their all-new exciting SUV and truck lineup for 2023. HRV, Pilot, Passport, Ridgeline trucks, and our popular CRV Hybrid. This is without a doubt Honda's most impressive lineup. Visit your local Honda dealer today. We're dealing.
Join the U.S. Army as they sponsor the second annual Go Ruck event at Met Park, April 21st through 23rd. Enjoy a massive 3-day fitness and music festival with an ice-cold beer. Competitors compete for a spot on the leaderboard with competitions including the obstacle course, a scavenger hunt, boot camp, sandbag and rucksack training, urban obstacle course, and more. Sandlot Jacks, promoting physical and mental health through social fitness. It's a 3-day massive event to highlight fitness and music.
Northeast Florida Safety Council has been keeping Florida safe for 80 years. I'm Dominic Whitley, Environmental Health and Safety Director. What kind of safety culture have you developed at your business? Safety is a saver of lives, limb, and the bottom line. A great safety culture protects your most important investments, your employees and your business, and results in great success. Let us help you develop a successful safety culture. Visit us at nefsc.org and become an elite member today. Again, that is nefsc.org.
ITB Partners, the official financial firm for the station to beat inflation.
Whoa, Dan. People don't want to joke about their money, not during these tough times.
You mean they'd rather hear about how ITB Partners takes our money and makes us more money?
Now you're talking. They make financial planning simple and easy to understand, even for a couple of slappies like us.
Those guys have been serving Hickets for 3 generations. Junebug, me. I even got my son Juju being smart with his money in his 20s.
It's never too early to talk with Chris Bryan, Dan Abel, Brian Wright, Reagan Wright, Jeff Hartman, and Craig Ross.
Financial questions, ideas, or thoughts, email chris@itbpartners.com.
This date in sports history is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On April 11, 1965, Jack Nicklaus wins his second of 6 Masters titles with a 17 under par, beating Gary Player and Arnold Palmer by a record 9 strokes.
Whether you're undertaking a major home renovation or just a simple repair request, American Electrical is your 5-star Jacksonville-based electrician to get the work done right. Experienced design building department working seamlessly with their electrical contracting department to help you create beautiful lighting spaces and electrical plans that make your house flow. And remember, with American Electrical, it's wired right at a fair price. Call American Electric at 737-7770. Look for that red, white, and blue eagle on the side of their truck, and you'll know it's American Electrical.
Children under 5 die from drowning in Florida more than any other state. Together, we can reduce the risk of drowning. The YMCA has programs accessible to families that teach essential water safety skills. Face the water with confidence. Learn more at watersafetyflorida.org.
I-9 Sports, flag football, basketball, soccer, and t-ball. Play year-round with co-ed programs ages 3 to 17. Duval, Clay, and St. John's. Enter promo code 1010XL for $5 off. Check out i9sports.com for all the details.
With the weather turning warmer and springtime finally here, there's no better day to have lunch than today at Woody's. Today should be your sky-high pie day.
At Woody's Barbecue, it's what we do.
Let's eat.
Now is the perfect time to make sure your home is protected from storms by scheduling a complimentary roof inspection with Universal Roof and Contracting. Protect your biggest investment, your home. Get a free wind mitigation with your full roof replacement plus a free Platinum Protection Warranty upgrade. This offer expires April 30th and restrictions apply. Universal Roof and Contracting, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. License number CCC 133-0147, CBC 125-8484.
UniversalRoof.com. It's time to play Septic Tank Solutions. Question 1. How often should you get your septic tank pumped? Contestant 1?
When it starts running over in the yard?
No, that's a little late. Contestant 2? That's right, Duck. At least every 3 years.
For septic pump outs, inspections, to new septic tank and drain field installations, call Northeast Florida's only master septic contractor.
When you're stuck, call the Duck. 904-862-6769.
What keeps you from getting things done? Often it's a problem. Well, what if the problem isn't a problem at all? Hey, gang, you've been thinking about selling your home, but you think it's just too much out there to stop you? Let me tell you that there's not with Chad and Sandy. At Chad and Sandy, they guarantee your home sold at agreed upon price and deadline, or they will buy it. So no matter the reason that it's time for you to move, maybe you need a bigger home for your office or your growing family. Well, Chad and Sandy are the real estate experts we trust and recommend for the sale of your home. Chad and Sandy guarantee your home sold at an agreed upon price and deadline, or they will buy it. Take Caleb and Kendall Point. I finished my military service. I got a great job offer back home and was excited for my new life to begin pronto. Chad is a former Navy, and he bent over backwards to make things happen for me. Incredibly, my home sold in 5 days above list price. The problem solvers at Chad and Sandy. Go to chadandsandy.com or call 414-6200. chadandsandy.com.
This is former NFL quarterback David Garrard. If your knees have taken a beating and you're finally ready to do something about it, then let Southeast Orthopedic take a look. Come on, do your knees a favor.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
David Garrard here. I've had the PRP treatment from Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, and my knees are really doing well. Platelet-rich plasma treatment may be the answer for whatever is hurting you.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
As parents, we all want to ensure that our children are safe, secure, and healthy starting day one. Please make sure your newborn is sleeping safely. Visit wilsonchildrens.com/safe sleep for infant safety tips.
This 1010XL 92.5 FM hour is powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733. This is XL Primetime, protected by Preferred Roofing on 1010XL.
Coach Campo, I got to tell you, you made our boy, the bulky pop-off line, pretty happy. He says, "Thank you, Coach Campo," on the text line brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures.
When she yells, that is all caps that you're talking about.
Alan, Fatukasi, Hamilton, Walker. The front is there in their correct positions. Let's go.
There we go.
Is that how you would play it?
Hey.
Allen, Fatukasi, Hamilton, Walker, before an addition of a Miles Murphy.
Yeah. Yes. That's it.
Well, it's funny because if you do that, You're back to your 3 and your 1. You're back to your, hands on the ground guys.
Yep.
And I don't if I knew that Trayvon Walker could turn into a hand on the ground guy, I'd be all about it.
Yeah.
But I also subscribe to your theory quite a bit that technique-wise, he still needs work. There's not a lot of polish right now in his game, and he might be able, from a physical standpoint, overwhelm interior linemen over the quality tackle out there.
And that's where I kind of see him, because when you look at what he did at Georgia, that's what he did the most. He was down inside with his hand on the ground.
Now,
so he's had that ability. Now he has to bulk up a little bit.
Now, you know better than all of us. Leon, we usually look at that guy in that chair and go, you know better than all of us, either the coach or the player. But Matt and I argue about this. The difference between the quality of opponent that they see. Yeah, success in college is one thing.
Absolutely.
How much of a step up?
It's big.
Yeah.
Huge. I mean, just the speed of the game, everything, and only 2%, less than 2% of college athletes play professional football.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I'm talking about the big-time professional football.
Right.
Well, if that's the case, you're playing against sub-professional football players 99% of the time that you're playing when you're in college.
Yeah.
When you get to the pros, you're playing
it.
against that 1.5 to 2%.
Yeah.
So it's a whole different game when you get here.
So we spent the last segment really focusing in on needs in the draft on the defensive side of the ball, which, of course, the Jaguars, I believe it was 7 picks last year in last year's NFL draft. 5 of the 7 were spent on that defensive side of the ball, which I know, Coach Campo, you believe there's still enough holes that it could be done again.
If you go back over the last handful of drives, they've done a ton of that
right.
on that side of the ball.
They've really invested a lot of capital on the defensive side of the ball. But let's quickly talk offense. What holes are you addressing on the offensive side of the ball, A, in the draft in its entirety if you're the Jaguars, but B, on day 1 or day 2?
Well, first of all, I think the offensive tackle position is viable. I really believe that the third offensive tackle is just as important as the first 2. And that's because you've got to have a swing tackle that if something happens, and those guys are taking punishment every single play every day. So to me, that's viable. The other position that the first 2 days, I don't see them taking 2 offensive players. So if they take the offensive tackle, they're not going to take another offensive player. So I don't know that there is another position where you could say, now could I say that they need a running back? Maybe, but not in the first 2 rounds, in my opinion.
So let's say Darnell Wright falls to 24 and they take Darnell Wright. Is he playing right away, or is he just going to be the swing tackle?
No, I think he comes in and competes just like they did last year. And if Walker Little beats him out, Walker Little beats him out. If not, Walker Little's a swing tackle.
So you don't think Walker's going to compete with Cam Robinson then?
Well, I think Walker's going to compete with the 3 of them.
Right.
If they have 3.
But to be fair, he can only compete at one of those spots.
Yeah,
he can't keep going back and forth. And like a competition is a competition,
OTAs,
right?
Yeah.
Can't through OTAs.
Yeah.
And the mini camps.
That's to me, that's what you have to do. I think with Cam Robinson coming off of injury, there's no guarantee where he's at.
Right.
So it would start out if they took that guy probably with Walker Little on the left side and whoever comes in on the right side.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not as big on whether or not a guy can play right or left tackle. I think there's a couple of different skill set as you look at one as opposed to the other. But, they need to make sure that they're solid in the offensive line with this quarterback.
You know what's interesting is if you're watching on YouTube right now, when you said you got one guy on the left side and you did your right, and because you're looking at it, you still look at it from a defensive coordinator, don't you? Like it's right and left, it's really left and right.
Yeah, exactly.
That's beautiful.
So let's touch another.
Exactly right.
He said the left tackle, and I see him going his right hand. I'm like, he's looking at it like he's looking at tape.
I'm about to
exactly.
Yeah.
I do want to touch on the tight end position because obviously, as of this writing, the Jaguars only have 2 tight ends on their roster, and one of them, Evan Ingram, is playing on the franchise tag as of this writing. But I also want to talk about the potential for drafting a guard. Tackle for you, Coach Campo, on the offensive line, more of a priority. Let's say they go defensive end or corner at number 24, and maybe some of those tackles they don't like, maybe they're not as high on the tackles in the 2nd and 3rd round. Would you draft a guard that high.
Yeah, in the third round, I think in the third and the fourth round, you can find an offensive guard that can come in and start. I believe. I don't think you can. I don't think you can do that with an offensive tackle. But a guard, that skill set. Like you look at Torrance.
Osiris Torrance.
Torrance, right?
Yeah, Osiris.
Yeah,
yep.
you look at Torrance. He's not that nifty, but boy, he's powerful and physical. So there's no question that a guard is completely different than the tackles. The tackles have to handle. That's why a Trayvon Walker over the top of a guard is dangerous because, you look at Donald and some of these guys that line up inside. The guards can't handle them. They're not nifty enough.
Right.
It forces double teams all the time, and then all of a sudden you're allowing other people to make plays.
That part I love. All right, we have to wrap ours up. Get ready for the Frangie show. Campo and Joe coming up, right?
Yep.
As he said, he's used to being on camera, so he knows exactly what to expect. Yeah, see, there he is.
Did you enjoy the press conferences, by the way, when you were head coach?
No, because we were hurt. We were awful.
And he was in Dallas.
I enjoyed what's the show they do with the
Hard Knocks?
Hard Knocks, because everything was rosy.
Yeah.
During the season, we were 5'11", and 5'11".
But during training camp, everything was,
rosy.
Roses and rainbows and candy.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's a winner then. All right. Hey, listen, he was saddled by the worst quarterback decision ever.
Hey, I'm not disagreeing, man.
Yeah.
Hey.
All right, Coach, thank you very much.
Got it, guys. Appreciate it.
We got Campo and Joe coming up on Facebook Live and wherever you find us on the social channels. You're going to find the French show coming up in just a bit.
Buckle up. You're in the First Coast Honda Dealer Studios with XL Primetime on 1010XL. Find your new Honda at your 8 local Honda dealers.
Anytime Fitness Sawgrass is the preferred gym of yours truly, Mia O'Brien. Strengthen everything from calves to confidence.
1010XL takes you inside the program director's office with Dan and Jeff.
Comedy, sir.
Comedy?
The Drill.
This is not comedy.
Mornings
Comedy is fun. It's antics, hysterical type things.
on 1010XL.
Hey guys, Hicken here. It's hot now and it ain't getting any cooler. Unless you stay cooler with Bueller. Bueller Air is still locally owned and still treating their growing customer base like they're part of the family. Go ahead and Google them yourself. Bueller Air. You won't find better rated air conditioning company in town. I use them, so I already know. I love them. Like I said, it's getting hotter than ever outside, so stay cooler with Bueller.
Bueller Air. Stay cooler with Bueller.
I'm Jeff Middlecoff with Trustline Mortgage. My business partners Alan Tyre, Bill Pappas, and Ken Rimley have been helping clients all over Florida with their construction perm loans for 34 years. Construction perm loans are not easy to find because a lot of banks and credit unions don't understand them, and therefore they don't like to do them. Well, your problem is solved. Trustline Mortgage wants to help you build your dream home. Our construction perm loans are single close, so you save money by not having to close twice, like with other lenders. Some of our construction perm loans allow you to lock in your interest rate up front. And if interest rates go down, we'll give you the better rate. We offer up to 100% VA loans, up to 96.5% for FHA loans, and up to 95% for conventional loans. Call Trustline Mortgage today at 381-LOAN. That's 381-LOAN to find out how we can help you build your dream home. Or visit our website at trustlinemortgage.com. Trust your instincts and follow the line to Trustline Mortgage.
Certain restrictions apply. See office for details. Trustline is an equal housing lender. MLS number 331480.
Men, if you're struggling with erectile dysfunction or PE and frustrated taking pills that don't work, Prime Men's Medical Center offers breakthrough medical treatments that effectively treat your problem. 98% of patients experience immediate results during their first office visit. And for a limited time, your initial consultation and first treatment are completely free. Listen to a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Rubinski. The physicians at Prime Men's Medical Center offer the most advanced treatments that eliminate ED and PE. Now men are lasting 30, 60, 90 minutes or longer, regardless of age or medical history.
Guys, to eliminate your frustration in the bedroom, call Prime Men's Medical Center now to take advantage of this exclusive limited-time offer. Your initial consultation and first treatment are totally free, and you'll see instant results right in the office. Call now, 904-664-8217. 904-664-8217. That's 904-664-8217.
Calling all Buffalo Bills, Annie Oakley's sharpshooters, and amateur marksmen. Join some fun folks for an afternoon of competitive clay shooting to benefit Operation New Uniform, providing transformative training and career services to empower veterans and military spouses to successfully transition from military service to a meaningful career. Friday, April 28th at Clay Target Sports on a state-of-the-art 15-station sporting clay course. Register at onvet.org.
Active and pain-free. That's the ticket. Dr. George Barry here, and I know that's the goal of every patient I see. They want the best possible care so they can go back to enjoying life. That could be pick up basketball, golf, tennis, running, or just working out. It all requires you to be as healthy as you can be. If joint pain is taking its toll on your active lifestyle, come see me at Barry Orthopedics. We have locations all over Jacksonville and can diagnose and treat even the most severe joint pain. A homegrown Jacksonville practice. Find out more at barryorthopedics.com.
Shinedown is live at 5-Star Veterans Memorial Arena, April 14th. For a chance to win tickets, text Shinedown to the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures at 641-1010.
If you've been injured, your insurance company may try to downplay your pain. I'm Holt Harrell, and making sure that you are compensated is what I do. Don't deal with insurance companies alone. Call me, 251-1111. Harrell & Harrell, offices Jacksonville.
Get ready to take your game to the next level at Best Bet. Come and experience the best in card games, top-notch hospitality, award-winning sushi, and nonstop fun at our Jacksonville and Orange Park locations. We've got something fun for everyone. Choose from a variety of exciting poker games, including limits to suit all skill levels. If you're looking to try something new, we offer easy-to-learn games like one-card poker, Ultimate Texas Hold'em, and Pai Gow. You can also place bets on thrilling simulcast races while enjoying delicious food and drinks. See why we're the go-to destination for gaming and entertainment. Go to bestbetjacks.com.
This 1010XL 92.5 FM hour is powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733. Hey, remember this?
I don't believe what I just saw!
That is a disgusting act by Randy Moss.
You believe in miracles? Yes!
Touch 'em all, Joe! You'll never hit a bigger home run in your life!
Time now for a Modelo moment. Make your next moment with a Modelo.
Is it his time? On Friday, we said goodbye to one of the most popular champions, if not the most popular champion the game has ever known. And it's hard to believe there's a more popular winner in any single 1 year than Phil Mickelson in 2004.
That was Jim Nance, and as one writer describes, the most Nancian call ever. But it was a good one, as he finally, the streak was over. Is it his time for Phil Mickelson? And then he put Phil in the same category as Arnie, who had played in 50 straight Masters, 50 straight, and in 2004 played his last. And he was something else. Whenever you put anybody up against the strength of the Kings resume, that's pretty good. Phil had that going for a long, long time. Who knows? He certainly had him cheering for him this past week as well. Not as much, but definitely still some at age 52 with the lowest round that they've ever seen at that age up there. Pretty special stuff. A good Modelo moment.
Now, the 2-minute drill, brought to you by Tire Outlet, keeping 1010XL talking with wholesale prices and premium service. Tire Outlet, Jacksonville's largest locally owned automotive repair shop.
So as Lauren Brooks joins us now, the Frangie Show ready to go. If they do name something after you and they kind of give you credit, it became like a phrase, the most Nancian line ever that they had for him, which was pretty good. That was definitely a good moment back in the day. What is going on?
Oh, just trying to stay dry, although I think the rain has finally moved through for today.
Out of here.
Yes. It was funny. I got here few hours ago and it was raining. I walked back outside and the sun was shining. I walked back outside and it was raining again. I was like, okay.
Well, we were talking in the show prep earlier that the rain wins over traffic all the time. It just stalls everything on the streets out there, it seems like.
Especially when they're doing construction around here and you add the rain, then it becomes crazy.
Oh, there's construction out there on the roads? Really?
Although I will say
Everywhere.
after just having gone up to North Carolina and back, the roads in South Carolina no offense to
They're-
that state,
they're
but
terrible.
they're the absolute worst roads you will ever go on.
Yeah,
and
they're
so it
terrible.
makes you appreciate, at least if we have construction, at least our roads are
And by the way, they still don't believe in the 3-laner on
No.
I-95. They don't believe in
Can't they use
6.
some of those fireworks like taxes to fix those roads?
You would think,
right?
You would think south of the border they'd be able to
Yeah.
give you a little something for the tax base, but no.
That's a restaurant that they very much advertise south
Oh,
of the
yeah.
border.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
by the way, what was the best thing you ate on Easter?
We had just an awesome Easter breakfast, so that was,
okay.
and then crab cakes to follow. So
Ooh,
so
all
it was hard to beat it. And then we had pulled a pork roast, like we had bought one of the big pork tenderloins, and so TLD made that last night because we were too full from
Love
Sunday.
that.
So that was pulled that
done.
one off pretty nicely.
Well done.
That was pretty good in the oven. Oh yeah, with all that fat cap just sinking down into the meat. Oh, all right. What's going on? What's coming up later?
Well, we don't have that.
Yeah, right.
But
How did we do that?
we do have a scholar athlete coming up. And then at 5:30, Jim Furyk is going to join Frank and Hayes and talk all about the upcoming Constellation Furyk and Friends, which will be in October.
Yeah, that sounds good. I was talking to the tournament director, Adam Renfro, and they do have big plans coming up.
It's always such a great event.
Yeah, if he's unveiling that, that'll be good. That is good news. All right,
Yeah.
sounds good.
All right,
We
thanks.
appreciate it.
And the
Frank
women are coming
Franchi.
up tonight, right?
Oh, yeah, helmets and
Yeah,
heels,
helmets and
6 to
heels,
8.
6. Yeah, 6 to 8, and then you got Into the Night with Rick, and then Hacker rolls till midnight tonight.
Yes, 10 to 12.
Yeah, they'll get it going.
All streaming live at the 1010XL live
That's
cam.
usually when I get the rando text from Hack.
Yeah. All right, we've got
late, it's
Campo and Joe
bored,
coming up right about the top of the hour. You can log on Facebook Live, check us out, Coach Campo and I. We would love to see you in Beaver Toyota and Beaver Chevy. We'd also love to see you. Drop on by any one of their 2 locations and get a great deal. You could be looking for pre-owned, you could be looking for brand new. BeaverToyota, you can log on and check things out to start there, or BeaverChevrolet.com. We are out. Joe C., Mia O'Brien, Matty Hayes, Big Sirs, Coach, and JJ. That's a full house.